Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 5 Day Rentals, the only podcast that's on the run. It's come to my attention that something needed to be dealt with very seriously, so I have decided to do that. From 1980, it's cruising. That's right. Welcome live
from
the Lou.
No, come on, give it to him.
Live from the Char,
the meat packing district of the Char. We found an old warehouse
full of spaghetti.
Oh man. A little peek behind the curtain for the listeners. We are locked and loaded to get some old spaghetti factory on this live from the Char.
Once we are done with these 4 records.
That's how we're going to celebrate.
Gift to Daddy is
oh man.
You give me the oldest spaghetti you got,
So what are
sir.
you guys going to get?
The oldest spaghetti.
Oh yeah, that's a good choice.
I will probably fall asleep tonight looking at the menu.
I'm going to get the aged meatballs.
I'm going to probably start off with some toasted ravioli.
Oh, that's a good call, dude.
If they don't have cheese, we're leaving though.
Well, we're going to get cheese for you. We're going to get
no.
meat
I'm saying
for us.
if they only have meat toasted ravioli,
No.
I'm
I
leaving.
think they'll have
Oh,
cheese
jeez.
toasted ravioli. That's crazy.
I don't know.
What else? I mean, I feel like most toasted ravioli's cheese.
I feel like
The default is ground beef.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like you've already made reservations. Is the St. Louis...
If he didn't, we're fucked.
We're never gonna get in, dude.
So goes this dream.
You can't walk up with jeans on to the old spaghetti factory.
So I'm fucked. I can't go then.
No, we'll get you some nice slacks.
I didn't know I had to go shopping.
We're not that far from a
Yeah.
Dillard's, dude. We can get you squared away.
After Baywatch
Roosters
nights
over
last
here.
night, I definitely want some slacks. I need some summer beach slacks.
Some white slacks and a cropped suede jacket,
Well,
dude.
That means he can't have a meatball sub then.
It's the old spaghetti factory, Kron. Come on. There's going to
No,
be some red sauce flying through the air,
Hey,
brother.
listen. If I gotta lose a pair of slacks to have a nice old spaghetti meal with my boys, so be it. I don't give a shit.
Are we ordering wine?
Yes.
Extra breadsticks?
You can have as many as you want.
I don't think it's okay. We're paying for them. I don't think it's an
Yeah,
Olive
I don't
Garden
think it's
situation.
that. Yeah,
I don't
think it's that.
Hey, Old Spaghetti Factory's on Cron, dude.
Listen,
You
all
go-
I
Don't say
know
that.
of Old Spaghetti Factory is what Kron has been preaching to us in the last 24 hours. So
we're gonna
I've
We
based
don't
my
know where he
entire
came
religion.
up with this.
live it up, dude. Oh, a little espresso after dinner. Oh, I feel like I'm in the old country.
You better look out. I'm coming back from the shitter with a gun.
I
Thank
hope you
God.
do. I mean, if you don't, someone else is,
Yeah.
and we're gonna have to deal with that
If
situation.
only to shoot Dan in the gut to relieve some pressure.
Mhm.
Make some room for some more.
It's going to be there.
Enjoy those breadsticks, brother.
Speaking of
Enjoy.
breadsticks, we're here, guys. How we feeling? Are we feeling like this is the stupidest thing that I've ever put you through? It's definitely the gayest thing I've ever put you through. Besides kissing you and touching your butts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't want to give too much. I mean, I think this is the best movie we watched for the movies we picked for this.
Oh, sorry.
I'm just
Wow, dude.
wow.
Couldn't even wait till we got through the other one?
I definitely went low hanging fruit on my pick. I mean, that's already come out. I think Bones is a very Bones movie, but it's kind of hard to compare it to a freaking like from his solid run of stuff.
It was as surgical as I could be, narrowed down to two things to try to balance and offset, knowing that I was going last, knowing I couldn't outdo this. How do I balance what you selected? And that's more often than not when Bones goes last. That's what I'm trying to do. And I feel like it's an easy plot breakdown, but prime for material.
I mean, I think if I just had to say what movie is operating on the highest level, it's clearly this one, right?
Yeah. This is it's so close to being a masterpiece. It's so close. If it wasn't looped to fucking death, if he had made his fucking mind up about the ambiguity of it, like it is certainly a thing that on rewatch just gets better and better. When you lean into the confusion, when you get after the first two watches that I had of this movie and went like, who the fuck is this guy? And then realizing what he's going for, but then 3/4 of the way dropping the ball on the ambiguity is such a bummer.
I mean, it definitely, like, I had seen this movie before, and I guess on the this rewatch, I really liked the ambiguity of the movie. It gives you a reason to kind of get reinvested in the film and what's going on in it.
Yeah. I would say the ambiguity with killer identification is beautiful. Ambiguity with his character, I dislike. I don't think that there's enough there that it does service to Pacino. And Dan, why don't you talk for a little bit?
I'm trying to figure out if you don't like Pacino's performance.
I think Pacino's very good in the movie. What I dislike is that it is the question of what is this doing to his sexuality is a good question to ask. What I don't like is that it's particularly aimed at that culture. I think there needs to be more with Ted, and there needed to be more interaction with the girlfriend, because the believability of why you aren't into me and the aggressive sex that he does have, I think is too small in comparison to what the other saucy stuff that he does show. I don't think it necessarily needed to be, is he maybe gay, or is it, maybe he's feeling that he's repressed and would like to maybe live a little bit more out and aggressive. Like he's envious of these people who will go to extremes to find what they're into and open up his repression. I don't know if I think it just needs to be, maybe he was gay the whole time, which isn't I don't have a problem with that. I just don't think that key thing is explored enough with the girlfriend. That all seems secondary. And he's even said the decision to end on that ambiguous shot and Pacino being upset, well, fuck, if you wanted me to play that, I would have played that the whole time. The whole, that's putting aside the entire, was he one of the killers? Which I don't like.
Oh, so you think there's multiple killers?
I think it's far more interesting to watch it that there are multiple killers.
I think
they are literally different actors in each killing.
Did anybody notice that the first time they watched that, or was that multiple views?
It took the third watch before I realized, like, oh, the second dude is the victim from the next one, and the victim is this guy.
Yeah.
And the looping pissed me off the first time. And then when you realize, like, oh, that is to put a generic voice on him. And then I believe it's the same voice for the dad, right?
Oh, that might be. Guess I didn't notice that this time around. That's a good pickup, though.
Do you think there's a reading of the movie where it's just Pacino the whole time? Something I was trying to, like on the last rewatch, I was like, I feel like I was stretching to get there. Like, I don't know if I truly believe that, but I think that's an interesting angle to be like, was it just him? I think there's enough in the scene with his boss where he brings him in and he's like, hey, have you ever gotten your dick sucked before? And he's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But I feel like there's almost this thing where it's like, hey, everybody on the force knows you're gay. Like, we already know that about you. We don't talk about it and you don't talk about it. But everybody can already read that. You know what I mean? So I think you can read the movie of like, is he the killer the whole time? Like, and like I said, I think it's stretching to get there, but it is an interesting thing to kind of be like, can I make those pieces fit as I'm watching the film?
Yeah.
I don't think it's that much of a stretch.
I think it's a little, I mean, just because they get down to like, I mean, the movie identifies another guy where the movie's kind of telling you, hey, this guy that he fights in the alley at the end of the movie.
He points him. He says that's the guy. Or I think this is the guy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you could obviously read it as like, he just needs to find a guy that's going to be the scapegoat that like takes the blame for all this. So if you are trying to steer down like Pacino is the killer the whole time, you could go that route. But I also think it's like, are you reaching for that at that point?
Did you have the same thoughts of the ending of the movie on your rewatches each time? Or was it a different theory each time?
I think the very first time I watched this, it was just like him trying to find, the killer. It was a little bit more straightforward. The ambiguity at the end, I feel like, is more him being like, can I go back to a normal life? Like, can I go back to sleeping with a woman? Or do I want to pursue this whole thing I've been involved in? Whereas on the rewatches for this, I was kind of trying to be like, can I read it this way? Can I? And I feel like that is a strength of the movie, right? Where it is open enough where you can kind of go down different avenues, you know?
Definitely.
I think I can kind of give you a broad description of each viewing of this. First time I watched it was maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And you go into it knowing, oh, this is Cruising, a movie full of hardcore gay sex. Like it.
You have my attention,
yeah. Yeah, but exactly. And you know the joke of it before you go in. And the ambiguity I just took to, oh, the looping on this fucking sucks. And he probably shot this really, really fast. And I know the Friedkin method, and they all look the fucking same. I guess that's some sort of dig at the community in a way. So they all look the same. I can't tell the goddamn difference at the end, realizing, oh, that was the guy the whole time. Cool, he caught him. Same with Kron. All right, now he's all fucked up at the end. Second time I watch it, I sort of key in, oh, it's purposeful, the different casting on this. This is their way of saying that There's multiple in the community. Each one has maybe different reasons for what they're doing, right? Then I get to the ambiguity thing, and I think it was probably after reading or listening to Friedkin Connection, and then sort of pissed off that, like, man, I don't like this. I don't like this random Ted murder. Is this supposed to be just, oh, this is just rampant in the community? Is this the way of saying that the trade-off of a gay relationship where dudes want to fuck and they have a ton of sex is that they are equally met with like the male aggression, and that's what the Ted situation is? And then third time to Kron's thing, I'm like, I am trying to watch this now to key in. Could he be one of them, one of the killers? Is he Ted's killer? Is he the killer throughout? Then you key into that one insert that's got him coming down the street in the get up. And then towards the end, there's the one where they're walking away into the district. So I have a different interpretation every time I've watched it, which I think is a sign of a good movie. I think on its base level, you could just watch this and go, that was a killer. It's going to be a rough life for him. Move on. But
yeah, I think you're working with two there of he's battling himself and who the fuck is this killer? Which I think is great.
Yeah.
All right, well. Cruising, 1980. Crash and burn.
I wish.
We're going to crash and burn through this story. This is rated at a 3.6, the Letterboxd user rating. Gentlemen, anything to add to our... We had some deep into cruising right there, right off the top. Before we rate my Letterboxd.
I think this is an interesting test of our film review capability, right?
We'll see.
Like, this is low-hanging fruit to just how gross and stupid can you get. But are you doing a disservice to the show if we say, well, it's too touchy of a subject, let's not do that? So, I mean, if we were able to get some, like, milk some humor out of targets, I think we should be able to get something out of this.
We'll see what happens.
Target's a Quran choice.
No, I didn't pick targets.
I know.
You picked targets.
You've been targeting me this whole trip.
I liked Seconds better than Targets.
But they're not the same movie.
They got similar titles.
One starts with an S, one starts with a T.
Yeah, but it's like Seconds, Targets,
3.6, you said, Dan?
Cruising,
3.6.
2 syllables.
I think I went second this morning. Dan, I think you are a 4.0 on Cruising.
I'm going to be with Bones. I think you're a 4.0 on Cruising.
I mean, we'll see whenever this is over with, if you guys can handle yourselves.
We can move quick through this one.
I took my pants off.
I put your pants on.
Bones has 2 pairs of pants on because he's so scared of getting hard.
I'm not gay. There's some sexy shit in this. That's how comfortable I am.
Could we get into the Wolf Lounge?
I think you could get into any. They say like it's a private club, but they're also charging like $6 at the door. You know what I mean? It's kind of.
I look like a cop, so I'd probably get kicked out of cop night at that one club like he does.
Well, I think you gotta look like a cop. They get mad at him because he doesn't look like a cop.
He's not dressed up.
Yeah.
Oh, I totally okay. Thank you, looped ADR. I took it as like, where's your knife, gun, blah blah blah. Like, you seem like you're here to bust us.
Well, he thinks that at first, and then he realizes, oh, okay, so it's dress up night.
Mm-hmm.
No, okay.
So that's why he they're like, yeah,
God, I gotta
fuck
watch
Well,
this
think-
movie
I-
again.
yeah, I think Pacino was like, oh, fuck. Like, they know
They outed
I'm
me.
a cop.
Mhm.
But they're just kind of like, you didn't dress the right way. Like, you're wearing all your leather shit. You don't have a nightstick. You don't have glasses.
It's Wednesday,
You,
but
yeah.
Oh,
Like,
fuck.
get the
Then
fuck out of the
I
bar.
took it as like he was asking, like, you look like you have a gun or some shit on you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
No, they're mad because he doesn't have a fake gun and cuffs and.
He's got to go down the store to fucking
Mhm.
Powers booth and see what toy guns he's got.
Yeah, this thing is just chock full of good, fun character actors too.
good New York actors.
Mhm. Got Joe Spinell in this, the gas man from Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
How do they know I got gas?
Sorvino, it was like kind of a nothing performance the first time I watched it. And then on the second time, I kind of keyed in on the, like, wow, this guy absolutely fucking hates this. Like, he's got that line of dialogue that, like, you know, he's in the gay scene, but he's like on the outskirts of it.
Mm.
Like the laying the table of like, I understand that this isn't your average gay person. This is like hardcore fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. And
Well-
he does seem to like kind of care about him. He needs and I think they do a good job of like his boss yelling at him, like the chief of police is on his ass.
Mhm.
But
I mean, you also got to think about 79. I mean, I think inspiration for this was between 62 and 79. So at that time, yes, the gay community is frowned upon by America.
Yeah.
Which is terrible.
Yeah, but I think even more than that, like, because it's the gay community, but it's like hardcore S&M and like,
It's tread on me, Kron.
yeah, but it's like, it's even one step beyond what most people are. I mean, there's people in straight communities that do that same kind of
Yeah,
thing.
that
And it's
are-
like, but people still think like, well, that's very strange. Like that's a weird kind of kink that those people have that they want to, be tied up or just, like leather domination and shit like that.
Yeah. Poison Ivy 3.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like your puffy nipple fetish.
It's another kink. Yeah. I mean, there are people that are into, leather stuff and.
Well, and Sorvino, it's like, to build on that point, he even says like, these people have 9-to-5 jobs. They're bankers, they're professionals, they're doing like, he's trying to set the stage that while you might consider this act that they do a few hours a week as degenerate, this is them getting it out and they are regular citizens. And in a way, he's also saying like, they still deserve equal attention to be protected and safe. Like, he doesn't say it outright, but he is, it, because at a certain point you start to say it too much and then it's like you're overcompensating,
I mean, you also got to think that in New York at this time, the mafia basically owns these buildings, which is something they're making money off of, and is something they're not going to, I guess, behind whatever happened behind closed doors,
Yeah.
was another factor as well.
Money is money to them
Yeah.
at that point. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess as long as like cash is still flowing, then they're willing to
not?
look the other way.
That's
jockstrap night can happen.
Mhm.
the one strange element about capitalism is like, at a certain point, if you're a true capitalist, you don't give a shit what people are doing
No.
if you're making a dime off of it.
Yeah. If you can turn a profit,
Yes.
go ahead.
And the other side of the coin is, this is why fucking school shootings keep happening, because gun companies still keep fucking making money off rounds.
Mhm.
Like,
Jesus Christ. I thought this was supposed to be fun, guys. 1980, directed by 1, 2. Is this 3, 4? What am I missing? I know I've got Sorcerer. We got
I brought 2, Jade and
Jade.
The Hunted.
Okay, The Hunted. Cruising. So this would be my first freaking.
I mean, the guy's good. There's a reason why we've brought 4 movies. And it's not just like the Carpenter thing where I keep bringing them. We've all brought separate freakins to the show now.
Yeah.
So
Is he our man?
I think he's one of those guys where, yeah, like if you like movies, eventually you find your way to freaking, you know?
When he's good, he's good.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got some equal stinkers.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't too blown away by To Live and Die in L.A. I do think the car chase is pretty good, but
Car Chase is really good.
Just the overall movie didn't do it for me.
It kind of, I feel like that movie maybe overstays its welcome a little bit. Like it kind of starts to drag its heels at a certain point, but it's for me, it's just hard to argue against that chase. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, is the chase so good that I'm willing to look past the boring-ish last 30 minutes? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, no car chases and cruising, but there's some chasing going on.
Mhm.
We start with some flashes of a bar and a man waiting at a bridge in black and chrome. So automatically you're in.
Yeah, if the whole movie looked like this.
I think you could do a black and white version of Cruising and it would be pretty fucking cool.
Well, thank God freaking never re-released it as such to make a quick buck.
We fade to the New York skyline. We join it in color. We got a tugboat worker. He finds a human arm in the water. What the fuck? Quick cut to the corner.
Do you think people, like if you just walked into the movie theater, you got a ticket for Cruising and you open on boats, are you like, oh, it's a boat movie? I get it.
Oh, cruising.
Yeah, we're cruising. When does the cruise ship
This
show
is
up?
going to be about a kid who starts working on his dad's tugboat,
Uh-huh.
dreams of having his own fucking yacht,
Yeah.
enters some sort of fucking Yale sailboat race,
Mm-hmm.
gets a big tittied blonde chick,
All right.
into the movie, takes out a super yacht.
Bingo.
We're in the 80s, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There might have been someone in the
And it's Al Pacino.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome.
Gets into some crazy trouble out there on the seas.
Not like you can just go pull up the trailer on the internet, you know? You might, like, I could see someone just walking in and being like, oh, it's a boat movie. I like boats.
I thought that was going to be Al Pacino in 90 minutes of him tying knots and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Martha, it's not too bad. It's Pacino in a boat. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Sit down.
Dad, there's something over there in starboard bow. Because this is like, he's 39 for one, which is fucking crazy. But this is before Pacino, you know? So he's still
Is this like
A little bit-
last?
a little bit, what are you talking about? A little lazily, you know?
Is this like last? I don't want to say great Pacino. Because you still got like Scent of a Woman and Heat
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But is this like the last of the...
Jack and Jill.
Yeah, your fucking chicken jockey meme kids are going to be all about fucking Dunkachino.
The last of the old time Pacino? And the last great old
Give
time
me that
Pacino.
old time
Well,
Pacino.
no.
Give me that old time Pacino.
Give it to me.
He does circle back around in, he pops in once a time in Hollywood.
Yeah, but I mean like leading role.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would probably say Heat.
I mean, what year is like Serpico? That's all
Yeah, like
right.
Serpico's
in-
earlier than this, I think.
Yeah.
there's is Dog Day before this?
I think
Yeah.
Dog Days even before Serpico, I thought.
Yeah. So that's like, I mean, that's maybe like golden era. This might
What
even
a fucking run though. Man.
this might even be on like tail end of his.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is
Yeah.
it like the last one where you're like, yo, you got to see Cruising.
Yeah.
Donnie Brasco,
Nah.
Devil's Advocate,
I mean, he's pretty good in that.
Any
but
Given Sunday.
I think maybe that's where we're kind of like,
He's still pretty fucking good in Any Given Sunday. And then Insomnia is probably the next. That's the last big. Is that the Aaron B refrigerator kicking on?
Might be.
Insert standard audio quality is what it is, people.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't get better than Heat. He's really fucking good in this. And Carlito's Way.
Yeah, Carlito's
like,
Way, that's like a late. But he's also kind of by Carlito's Way, he's maybe almost a cartoon of him. You know, he's kind of turning into I'm Pacino doing Pacino, you know?
I'm a thing. Now.
There's those three eras.
Yeah.
There's early serious, which Cruising falls in. There's the I'm kind of a joke. I come back with Son of a Woman. I win the Oscar. I'm in my yelling phase.
Yes.
Carlito's Way is right on the end of yelling phase and into I'm a joke.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think that's fair.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Really good in Killers of the Flower Moon, no? Or was that De Niro?
That's De Niro.
That's De Niro.
De Niro has his is more intermittent.
Yeah. He has maybe
I'm good, I pay the bills. I'm good, I suck,
Yeah.
I pay the bills. I'm really good, I suck for a bit.
He's got more good ones mixed in, whereas Pacino does have distinct like peaks and valleys.
You're a Pacino over De Niro guy though, right?
I totally am. Because Dog Day is just, it's too fucking good.
It's so fucking good.
It's too fucking good.
I would say maybe Pacino.
And I'm like, every time I watch a movie, I'm like, it's not that good. And I'm like, God damn it, it's that good.
Well, I think does Pacino have a higher ceiling and a lower floor than De Niro? Like De Niro is more consistent, whereas Pacino has better performances, but he also has way worse performances.
You think maybe he just worked with better directors?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's hard to say. Like De Niro had Scorsese, he had De Palma, like earlier De Palma.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's hard to say which one of the.
What are you?
I don't. It's tough. Like I think De Niro is more consistently good, but Pacino has better tops. You know,
Performances.
yeah. Like I don't think De Niro could have done this movie,
I don't think he was going anywhere near this movie.
but
De Niro would have shown his fucking dick in this movie.
yeah.
You think?
Yeah.
But De Niro's really good in like I think Taxi Driver. Like his performance is that's kind of like off the rails, and I'm going as hard as I can.
The king of comedy.
Yeah.
Man, that's a tough.
It's super tough.
Yeah, that is a tough argument, huh?
But it is. I almost feel the same as you. Like if I just put all of De Niro against Dog Day Afternoon, for me, it's hard not to say Dog Day Afternoon is the best of like any of these movies I can possibly look at. So,
Bones?
In terms of catalog, I think I gotta go De Niro. Like if I'm looking at what I'm more apt to go back to, like Heat is the center of that Venn diagram, right?
He's got both of them though, so you can kind of
that's what I'm saying.
You get to double dip, yeah.
Of all of their movies, the one that I would say that's the one I would select.
Oh,
if I had to strip everything away, it would be Heat.
For both actors,
Yeah.
you would pick that as like top performance.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so then if I'm looking at like, what do I think? Let's just take that out of the equation. What do I think of what I've seen is their best performance? It is Dog Day Afternoon. And then like I'm scrolling through here now, and for De Niro, I don't know. I mean, I absolutely fucking love his turn in Jackie Brown.
Mm-hmm. He's like he's kind of a B character in that though.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
he's
aside from Max Cherry, he's the thing I always think about. But in terms of a leading role, I think it's Dog Day Afternoon again. Like, I don't think De Niro as the leading man has done anything that I would say trumps that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I guess if I just had to say best, like their two best performances, it would be Dog Day and I think Taxi Driver for me, just in terms of like how far they went into the role to make it good, you know?
I'd have to look at De Niro's.
It's I will, as you scroll through, just in totality. I mean,
Once Upon a Time,
De Niro is like, oh, this is
the Godfather.
This is the better filmography. But yeah,
shit.
But does the God
they're both?
Yeah,
But it's only the second. It's only the second one.
It's only the second one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we know fucking movies on this podcast, dude. No Godfather 2.
All right, we got. God damn it, dude! We're only 2 sentences in here. All right, we cut to the coroner. He's examining the arm that just came in from the Hudson River there. He has to go up to see if he can match the torso that came in last week. Coroner says we can get a fingerprint. But the cop says, not now. I need the whole body to call this a homicide. Coroner gets upset. He's like, this is why you guys never fucking get anything done, is because every time we do this, you don't have everything. Cop's like, whatever, man. I don't have time to deal with this. The cop leaves.
It is a funny scene of like the bureaucracy of it all is what is holding up. You know, the cop is basically like, can you just throw it in your bin of like miscellaneous human parts that we have here? And because I don't want, he's like, if we only have a hand, I can't match it to a body. That creates a whole separate issue. Like,
I need more.
Yeah. Like, unless we can do anything with it, then let's just throw it in miscellaneous pieces and forget that it exists.
This is a good time to talk about a thing I wanted to ask Kron about. But jokes aside, we both respect each other's man's man. Respect, rather, right? Let's fold it back on itself. Michael Mann will get so obsessed with like the outer elements of something, like this guy was a professional, blah blah blah, and he was a technical advisor, and I fold him in on something. Friedkin does the same thing. Like the amount of, oh, this guy was the cop who actually found this murderer. So he became my technical advisor and my best friend. So he's in the movie now, which I think this cop was a real cop.
Yeah.
Same way with French Connection and shit. The difference is they're both really obsessed with it. I think Mann is better at incorporating it into the story and the flow, and it never feels like out of place. Friedkin gets really obsessed with with Mann, it's never detrimental because of the performance. Friedkin is like, I don't give a shit if the guy can't act. His realism is going to just fucking ooze.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so the guy may carry himself like a real cop, but he can't deliver a line for shit. And Friedkin's fine with that. Mann will be, you're my technical advisor. I realize that you can act, so maybe I'll pull you in. But I do think that they're interesting directors to look at together because they're both really obsessed with like cops and robbers, prison. Like, you know, Mann does Jericho Mile. Friedkin does all those documentaries about dudes on death row.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so obsessed with like professional cop stories, and they ingrain with these guys and build stories out of it. But that was something that clicked with me this week. It was like, wow, okay, maybe it was something I never really was attuned to with Friedkin.
Yeah, I think Mann is better at it in terms of like what serves the movie that I'm making. Like, I think he's constantly looking at it as like, all right, I've got this technical guy, but can I see him playing this bit part in the movie? Because he has authenticity. Whereas, I mean, I think Friedkin, like you were saying, is interested in all that stuff, but he's not as good. It's like, he's so interested in it that even if the guy is not good for the role, he'll still put him in there. Mm-hmm. And yeah, Mann is a lot better at just like, no, you can, like, you know what you're talking about, and you can say these 6 words.
Yeah.
Like these exact, hit your mark, say the words, boom, we'll print it, you know?
We got Dennis Farina out of that.
Yeah.
You know, like none of the cops that worked with Friedkin went on to be
Right.
a Dennis Farina.
Yeah. Like they did not have long careers.
Yeah.
Even if they were authentic, there's still a difference in like, can you be that authentic on celluloid, you know?
And that folds into the tray that Dan's about to talk about of like, oh, that's really cool that his cop buddy convinced the coroner to let him show like real, actual, whatever. But it doesn't add anything to the movie. Like it's shocking and cool, but to me, it doesn't add anything where.
I mean, I think coroner's right though.
Yeah.
Like he's already got it figured out. Like, oh, I'm starting to see this pattern. But it's like, need such. It's like, yeah, you're all just talk, dude.
And it's much more convenient for this cop to say, oh, it obviously goes with that torso we found. So this is one case versus two.
I don't think this arm. Do you think this arm is connected to these murders?
I could see it, I guess. I mean,
I just don't seem. He doesn't seem the way that we see these guys killed in this movie. Doesn't seem like his MO.
But the arm thing comes from the guy who was in The Exorcist who actually dumped some real bodies. This is a rip from the headlines sort of thing that he incorporated into the story. I don't know if this was truly connected to the cruising source material.
Well, that story, isn't it like Friedkin had worked with a guy on Exorcist that ended up getting arrested for some murders.
Yeah.
And then he was like, okay, let me go talk to that guy because it's pretty similar to this other movie I'm trying to make. He goes and talks to him, gets whatever detail he needs. And then later, that guy says, I am the killer that this whole cruising thing is based on. Like, I think the guy comes out and says, that's me. Like, I killed all these gay men.
Then my interpretation was wrong. I thought he said, yeah, I killed that one guy. They made me take a deal to say I killed all these other people so I would get a reduced sentence, which is what Friedkin folded in.
I think at the time from what I read, when Friedkin interviewed him, it was like they only had one murder, but Friedkin thought it was similar. And then after this movie had come out, that guy said, like, the story that cruising is based on, like, that was me. I killed all these gay men in, like, I was in that lifestyle and I did that. And yeah, it was like this weird coincidence thing of, so Friedkin thought I'm building all this detail for this movie I'm making. But then the guy was like, it was actually like his stories, essentially. Yeah. Well, but it's like he ended up interviewing the guy who the movie was based on before that became public knowledge, you know? Like before he had admitted to it.
He's like, fuck the cops. I'm going to talk to Freaky over here. All right, our cop places this arm in the meat locker. He closes it up. It has a sign that says CUPI, circumstances unidentified pending police investigation. And yeah, it's just some body parts that we see. I believe they actually got the coroner's office to film in at the time. So it was the real place, the real New York City coroner's office.
And we established last night privately that that's a elected office.
There were some questions about some coroners.
As we were watching Baywatch Nights.
We get two cops patrolling. One is complaining that his lady left him. The other's complaining about all the scumbags in the city.
I think she can get away with it. She won't get away with it. Shut the fuck up.
That bitch. I'll show that bitch.
Gas man's being fucking supportive and shit. And he's like, shut the fuck up. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Let's go get a dick sucked.
These two patrolmen park. Simone, I think his name is, sits in the back. They stop two ladies of the night. I say ladies, but You can clearly tell these are gentlemen, but they're ladies. So that's what we're going to go with.
You got to respect how fit they are.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think me and Bones, we saw Henry Rollins.
No, shut up. Don't tell anybody about that.
You guys did
No,
this?
this is a real story.
Shut up.
We went and seen Mr. Henry Rollins from Black Flag and the Rollins Band. And I think he told a story of whenever he was younger and like when he first moved to LA and there were two ladies that were dressed up, and I guess the store clerk was giving them a hard time at the convenience store that he was in. And he was like, man, I've never heard the most vile shit come from two like ladies, man. He's like, they were giving that guy like, so he's like, I would have never said that shit in my life. And they were like, they were just dogging that dude. And he's like, I just couldn't help but laugh. And he's like, I never fucked with those ladies after that, man.
Does he mention that one's like 6 foot tall,
Yeah, they're
280, like giant,
fucking ripped
yeah,
and
and
shit.
the guy didn't realize, yeah.
And he's like, I wouldn't have fucked with those two.
Yeah.
Like, but he's like, they said the most vile shit that he's like, I couldn't even think of that shit. And I always remember that. That's why I just say, how much?
You fucking holding up dollar bills like Ving Rhames and bringing out the dead when he's
$2.20.
rolling by the hookers.
So they harass these two. They get them in the car. One of them's like, man, I can't afford another bus this week, man. Come on. Like, you guys are fucking picking on us. This happens. We follow a young man. He goes into he's in all leather. He goes into a private club.
But again, they do charge a cover. I mean, it just seems like it's a known, this is where you go if you're into this kind of thing. You still got to pay your money at the door, though.
Yeah, I think you're paying for use of the space.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Well, there's not like a membership card. You know what I mean? It's not like Costco is asking you for your fucking...
We're doing a gold card.
DeSimone and his partner do harass these ladies and have them in the back of the car. They make their way through. He makes his way through the club. And what Freakin' does here in Cruising, if you've never seen it, you should see it to see all of the fun guy activities that are going on in these gay leather clubs of New York City. So we kind of pan through these clubs and see all the activities that are going on in the background. And I'm sure beers were opened and other things.
I did it all the way over there.
It's an echoey house, man. We've been dealing with it for 2 days.
But I think these shots are great. Every time we go into a club, like, we just get a gift of what the fuck are we going to see?
One of them is a Wes Anderson-esque PTA 40 foot of track.
Mm-hmm.
God, I love the Wes Anderson remake. He pans every time, though, right? I mean, like every club we get a good, like...
There's a good pan, yeah.
You get a good look around at what is happening in every one of these clubs.
He in that New York Film Academy YouTube that you can watch when he talks about like the mind's eye.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have to see it, you have to be there. And then in the book when he talks about like, in order to shoot there, we had to be in our jock straps. We had to, they made us ingratiate in it. And I think he, the Herzog school of get in there, fucking live it, really made it, because it's two things. It's shot in a way of you're observing it. You are this, what the fuck is going on? And then there are times where you are in the action. You are over the shoulder of somebody having something inserted, so.
Well, I think it's the best thing about Freakin' is if he's like, what is the most authentic way I can show a police chase? It's like, well, if we just do it on these streets without permits and we work real quick, like that's going to feel real to the audience. I feel like he has, as long as it serves the movie, he's down to do it, So It's like, he's willing to go that far for the French Connection. And in this movie, he's like, yeah, I'll hang my asshole out there and film. It's like, I'll just wear a jockstrap. I don't care. Like, I'm trying to get this movie to look the best it can possibly be. So I'm fine with doing that.
Yeah.
You know?
Dan, do you think that the observations that you see, like when Friedkin talks a lot about, I came to this because I thought the heavy leather gay bars, which were just an interesting backdrop that we had never seen to do a murder mystery in. Do you think that everything that we get is in service of that? Or do you think that there's a level of novelty to it? Or is it both? Like, does it verge on being explicit for explicit's sake?
My thoughts of when I see all of this is who's actors and who's not back there. Does he say, are these guys just club goers?
There are very few actors.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I thought.
I think he works like pretty lean, right? So it's like he might have Pacino and maybe a few other people, but
For a crew.
yeah, but it's kind of like besides that, it's just let's go film in the club.
Yeah.
I said we can film there.
That's what I thought.
And these
So-
guys were into it.
Yeah.
They were they sort of understood what he was going for.
Mhm.
Whereas there was a larger total of the community that was like, this is detrimental to us.
Right.
So
I think the guys in the club, maybe it's a respect thing to Freakin' and his crew that they're coming into our space. And I mean, I'm sure he had to explain himself of what he was going for. Like, I want to do it authentic. Like, don't mind this camera or whatever. And I'm sure those guys didn't mind to do that. I'm sure there were some that probably seen that and was like, what's going on? And oh shit, I got a Wall Street job. I'm not fucking,
yeah.
I'm headed out, or I'm going over to the Wolf's Lair or whatever.
I'll go to the clubs that you're not shooting
Yeah,
in
exactly.
that
Yeah.
night. Yeah.
So I think that's kind of a respect thing to Freakin' to be like, if you really want to fucking see it, then we'll give it to you, and that'll be that. I mean, maybe they didn't think it was going to be theatrically released. Maybe they thought it was just a kind of a documentary filmmaker or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Well, and that goes, I mean, what did he even tell them? Did he say I'm shooting a documentary?
that's
did
true.
he? But I guess if you show up with Pacino, it's kind of hard. Like,
That's another thing.
yeah, he's even, he's like a top tier guy at that point in time anyway. So I guess as soon as you bring him into the club, it's kind of clear that this might pop up in the Cineplex at some point.
They might take that as like cool. It's solidifying them. Like,
Yeah.
fucking Pacino's going to be in a movie about like our culture. Like,
Yeah.
That when I hear that, of course, there's always people that are gonna fucking protest Marilyn Manson for Satan and blah 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 blah. But I don't know. I feel like it's kind of a respect thing that he went and to their club, to where they were, and did what he did. I mean, that's the way I feel as
Yeah.
a fucking white straight man. I can't say how the gay community feels about that, but
yeah.
Well, just even, I mean, they do look like authentic people, though, right? Like, you can tell this is not a set that they built, and they brought in the most handsome 30 actors they could find to act gay. It's like there are guys in the bar that look kind of rough or that look kind of.
they look all the same, Kron, and that's
I mean-
not a negative thing, but I think that helps this movie so much
Yeah.
with, wait a minute, like,
But I think
is that him back there?
That's my perception as a straight man looking in and trying to understand that a lot of times is like,
Mhm.
like we said, that first time I watched it, I was like, these guys all look the fucking same.
Yeah.
What is it about this culture that creates that blah, blah, blah? And then when you have to realize like, oh, that's prejudice. Stop. And then when you look around the bar and you're like, oh no, like these victims look the same, but there's a 300-pound bald dude over there. There's a ginger guy. There's this.
That takes your like
There-
second and third viewing to see that, because
Yeah.
Penny Smasher and I, the first time we ever seen this movie, we went to the Alamo and watched it on the big screen because I was like, I've always heard about this. We're going. And he's like, oh, well, I'm there with you. And yeah, when I went in, I didn't notice any of that shit. Like, but on the second time I watched it, I was like, oh shit, like that's the same dude. Like, so I think that helps too. Whenever he calls Burns in, Pacino, like he knows like what everybody looks like there, and that's the guy. And like Kron said, he might know that the rest of the department. I don't think they know that he's a gay man. I think they assume maybe he's a gay man, but he's got the look.
Yeah. Well, I think even, I mean, it's later in the movie, but his, the guy who's giving him these orders is like, they all look like you. Like, that's why we're giving you this job. They're all 140 to 150 pounds, dark hair, like your build. It's like that. This is what they look like, man.
So what I'm saying is I don't think it's a disrespect thing. I don't think freaking disrespected that community. I don't feel that whenever I watch this movie.
Yeah.
It's a niche community within a community, right? But it's like that's what the movie focuses on. So I think if you're like the 80s were a much different time, right? So if you're a gay person and you're like, this is what you choose to focus on, like this subsection, it's like I could see why the overall community would be like,
come on, dude.
Well, it's just like, I don't want this to be the gay representation in movie theaters, right? Because it's like, I don't go to bars like that. I don't engage in that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, so it's like, and even with straight people that are into that, it's like, I'm not really into, I don't want to be tied up and have somebody like whip me. That's not really what I'm into, but there are but there are straight people that are very into that. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just like it's a subsect of a sexual group.
I mean, it's like when you say I'm from Missouri and they're like, "Oh." It's like, "Oh, don't worry, I didn't vote that way." Like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, people make assumptions on what they see, and it's just
back to me. Yeah. That's what we do. Do you feel the rage was directed correctly, or
this is going to be a terrible fucking analogy. I mean no disrespect by it. It just is what popped in my head as Kron was talking. Let's take the left side of politics. Let's take the Democratic Party, right? Within the Democratic Party, you will have Democratic Socialists who want, let's say for a topic, Medicare for all. And they make the argument everybody should have fucking healthcare. It should be government subsidized. Like that's what we are fighting for. But within the 50% other total of, the 90% of the Democratic Party is like, no, we kind of like getting paid by healthcare companies and fucking pharmaceutical companies. So like you should have access to Medicare and we'll protect Medicare for like the people that have it now. But you got to shut up about Medicare for all because you're going to fuck it up because you're going to fuck.
Yeah. Like, the way I make money,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys kind of follow me? Like where I'm going for it? Like there will be like you said, this very niche or like subgenre within this thought process where the other 90% are like, will you shut the fuck up? We're just trying to get to this. And I bring that up as a person that believes we should have Medicare for all. And it's like, I'm trying to pull you into this. And I feel like this community might have said, we are not doing anything wrong. We don't consider this to be violent. This is what we like. We pay our fucking taxes. We are not on the side of saying that the murder is okay. We live in this darkness. It's the 14-year-old kid who listens to Manson and says, these lyrics about me doing this stuff aren't me condoning this stuff. This is my way of getting it out. But I'm going to go to geometry class tomorrow and I'm going to get a good grade. Right? So to bring it back to the Medicare analogy, like socialist Democrats are like, fuck you, you're wrong. And the problem that you say, I'm drawing a line in the sand, that this is what we need to do, you are actually the problem because you flip-flop and try to compromise constantly all the time. And I'm shooting for the moon and maybe we'll hit Denver. So I feel like this community being really open about it is like, if people get to see this and realize that like it's dark, but who knows, it might spark some people and this might be what you're into. And it doesn't have to be gay. It could be heterosexually masochistic or S&M. So I think he's hitting it with a hammer because it has to be. Because if you're fucking surgical about it and you miss one fucking edge, people are going to go, oh, that was disrespectful. But if he's just like, bam, 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 look at this fucked up shit by your other people's perspectives, you'll sit with it. You'll go, oh, this is the world I'm in. Now let me fucking pay attention to the actual murder mystery.
Right.
So.
And it's kind of out of the way in the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't need to ease in. He does slightly ease into it with the ladies and the car and all of that. But if he had not shown everything was fucking from the shoulder up for the first club, and then the second club is just the feet, and then on the third club is the fisting scene, like, I don't think it would have worked. That would have been like, oh, we're easing you into it because it's going to be bad. And it just needs to hit you over the over the head. Yeah, it's going to be bad. But it's not bad in what you think bad is. It's bad in the sense that, like, this is outside of what you've seen.
Yeah.
Fucking enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like showing the witch within 5 minutes of the witch. Like, all right, we got it out of the way. Here's what we're really doing.
Yeah.
But you bring up a great point of how many men did this help out when they seen this movie of like, oh shit, like, I'm a gay man, you know? Like, maybe this caused people to be, I'm going to live the life I want to live and come out and be a happy person.
Well, it's like, I don't know if I wouldn't say the movie overall represents the gay community at large, right? But the movie engrosses the viewer so much in the world that it takes place in that it's like, yeah, I mean, this is the environment that the film is involved in. So we need to show you every aspect of this to give you a baseline of like, this is how murders can happen in this area, right?
Yeah.
Like, so it is like, it doesn't represent gay people overall. It represents gay people that are in this very S&M kind of environment.
And the fact that they are pushed to
the margins.
Not in the margins, but then physically in old meat packing buildings that are rusted out and gross and nasty.
Mm-hmm.
So most people associate like, well, they're in there because they're doing gross and nasty stuff. It's like, I'm pretty sure they'd love to do this in Times Square if you gave them a space.
Yeah, if it was cool and everybody was fine with it.
Or maybe I'm wrong and they're like, no, that fucking adds to the element, dude. Like, I want to see Guar at the pageant. I don't give a fuck seeing him at Enterprise. I want to get sprayed.
Yeah,
like, I'm here to be in it.
Yeah,
for the blood, baby.
Yeah, I want the whole audience to be walking out looking the same way as me.
I'm not sitting in the back row at an Insane Clown Posse concert.
And I will say, Ted is a very important character because Ted is soft. He is positive. He is the majority of this community. He is welcoming. He is polite. He wants to take him out for a coffee. Sure. Does Ted lead some, I hope I didn't keep you up typing. Hint, let's talk about my screenplay. Everybody fucking does that shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ted's Ted, but every scene with him is during the day. It's bright. It's comfortable. They have chats. It's like the most Pacino is kind of vibrant and chatty.
It's a brightness to his what he is dealing with.
Which is why I think the movie needed more Ted. Like, you get, 2 or 3 scenes with him, and then there's a huge chunk where there's nothing, and then he knocks on the door and he's not even there. Like, there's not even like another scene with him. I don't know if that's an editing choice to make it more harsh, but if he had not had Ted, I could see what people being like, the only gay people you showed in this were like fucking S&M people. That's fucked up. You know, I think a great scene would have been Ted taking him to his friend's like a party
like
with
he has
friends.
a party. Yeah. So he can kind of get a feel for what the normal, kind of part of it could look like rather than.
I'm shocked there wasn't a studio note, and there may have been, that's like, can they go to a dinner party?
Right.
And in the dinner party, somebody talk about like that they're activists and they're fighting for this, and they're like, their concern for these murders are like, not only is it dangerous and giving a bad name, but it's tying S&M clubs to the entirety of our community.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that comes back to that fucking lame ass Democratic analogy of why even give them, this isn't their story. Why even give them fucking room to breathe and speak?
Mm-hmm.
Because I haven't even introduced Burns yet.
Son of a bitch.
All right, we get a guy
4-hour episode, dude.
who's getting blown. And mid-blow, he sees a man of interest and just pulls his pants up and goes and talks to him. Oh my God. That man is
Stamina.
Committed, dude.
God damn. Just like that, huh?
He's not his first floor blowjob night.
I was like, I'd never leave that. Like, there's no way I'm pulling my. Like, let me finish over here, and then I'll go talk. But yeah, he's just like, yep, later, dude. Like, God damn. So he sees this man sit down. He comes and chats. He's a very harsh voiced man. That's what I'm gonna say every time we see our killer here. Of course, they talk about hooking up that evening. He gives them some suggestions about the plans for the evening. They do head over to the St. James Hotel and start some late night funky time. Harsh voiced man here, he just kind of sits and watches. They start to get down. We get some boot action that leads to some other things. And later that night, harsh voiced man wants to leave, and he asks if he's afraid. He pulls a knife and holds it to Loverboy's neck here and says, "Are you afraid now?" He said, "Yes, I am."
Are you afraid now?
He hog ties
I was just
Loverboy.
looking for a bag of cigarettes. Have you been robbed before?
It is creepy, man. It's
a good
disturbing.
voice. Though.
Yeah.
It's a really good
Yeah.
voice. He does hog tie him, and he starts stabbing him in the back multiple times. You made me do that.
It's terrifying. It is super effective.
Yeah.
We cut back to our coroner. He's going through his examination of our lover boy who was just killed. Captain Elderson, he comes in. He's called Elderson on Letterboxd, but
Elderman, Elderstein, like
it's kind of like three different names, right?
Yeah.
is that part of the joke?
I don't know. I was wondering that this time around too. Like, are we supposed to believe something? I don't know.
Well, he gets it wrong when he comes in. He corrects him. And then at the end of the movie, he's making a joke by calling him the wrong thing, right?
I think
That's their way of like,
I think
we're cool
so.
now. Yeah.
But what does he correct him with? Like Elmerson or something?
I can't remember.
But when it's written down, it's Elderson.
Well, it's like he corrects him a couple times, right? Yeah, and then it's like at the end of the movie, it's a joke that he calls him the wrong name. So I don't know. It's very.
I was into it so much that I was like, does that have something to do with like Pacino's character? Like,
we couldn't remember the killer from Brain Scan earlier today. We went 5 minutes.
Trickster.
It's the jester.
Well, it is the trickster, yes, but
It's the jokester.
you said jester. You claimed that was a joke. You said
It is a
jester
joke.
confidently. Dan said, "Nah, man, it's the jokester." And I had to almost pull over and say, "Brother, it's the trickster." To which it was, Kron, we're both fucking idiots, I think.
We gotta get this CD fixed, dude. We
you
gotta.
gotta clean it.
Yeah.
All right, Elderson. He says the killers shot blanks because they tested the semen,
Fucking lucky.
Mm-hmm.
so we can't identify him off semen, and he's right-handed, and it's looking like they might have a killer on the loose. So this is the coroner telling Elderson this. Elderson questions some ladies from earlier, and they show her some pictures of some suspicious suspects. The sex worker says she needs to chat with the detective alone. He tells them that the two officers, they keep squeezing them almost every night. And she's talking about Simone and his partner. And they're like, they made us blow them.
You feel for her in this.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
she's telling the truth.
But you also understand his whole like a shit ton of dudes claim to be cops, and this like the last thing I need is on top of a gay serial killer. There's cops doing this. I don't condone it, but
I mean, he seems like I got a bigger case going right now. And he's like, get me names and get me badge numbers, and then come back and talk to me, and then maybe I can do something.
Yeah,
but he's kind of like annoyed with it as well.
Yeah,
I mean, at least he's doing his job, I guess.
You get the idea that he's actually like a good cop, right? Like he wants to do things the right way, and he wants there to be law and order. Like even for people on the margins of society, like they should get justice too. But it is like, it's that whole thing of like, I don't have time to fucking deal. Like I have a 8,000 things on my desk. Like you cannot add one more to it and expect me to bend over backwards to make it work. Yeah.
I'm asking you specifically about this thing. I don't need to hear about 17 other things you got going.
It's crazy how much too that like one of these cops is Joe Spinell, and I was just like, God damn, he keeps popping up in this movie. Like he's at the park and he's at, it's like he's getting more and more involved in the lifestyle himself because of the experiences that he's had. And it's weird. It's weird how much he kind of like creeps into the movie all throughout it.
Wonder why his lady's leaving him, huh? As Elderson ponders that they have a new killer on the loose here, our hero, Steve Burns, reports for duty. Elderson asks Burns why he believes he called him in. Burns says he heard about some special assignment. Elderson says, have you ever had your cock sucked by a man? Have you ever had a man smoke your pole? Burns is like, are you serious? Like, what's going on here? Like, kind of nervously laughing, and says, you got the wrong guy, man. I don't know what you're talking about. Elderson shows Burns the victims of the St. James Hotel killings. Elderson asks Burns if he wants to disappear and go undercover because he meets the types of guys that this killer is going after that they've noticed. He tells Burns that the killer is into heavy leather and S&M. Fucking love Judas Priest. No gun, no shield, and he only reports to Elderson if he's going to do this. Burns says, I'm fucking in, let's do it. Later, Burns is with his lady Nancy, and she asks about the new assignment. He says, I can't say anything about it.
Glowing, beautiful Karen Allen.
Mm-hmm.
It on Alyssa Milano level.
She does look good in this movie. I mean, it's hard to argue against.
All right, he basically tells her, like, I can't tell you anything about it, but what I do know is it's going to be a big promotion if I get this done and when I'm done with it. And we're going to take a pee break.
And I knew a guy in Nashville that was like, he's like, I smoke, but my fiance doesn't know. And I was like, she fucking knows. Like, you reek, dude. Like,
I smell you a mile away, bro.
When you walk into the office, I know that you have arrived. You're out of your mind.
Oh, fucking Ken's here.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to 5 Day Rentals. We are we're cruising.
Barely into cruising.
We're cruising. We're having a great discussion here about this William Friedkin movie from 1980 starring Al Pacino. And I'm loving it. Guys, thank you for joining me for this. Thank you. I don't know if you were scared to come in to this movie. 5DR is not scared of anything, so fuck you if you think we are. And try us. We'll fucking beat your asses.
You guys should do a Serbian film.
No.
No, thank you.
You can watch Serbian film on your own time. We don't have time to do that.
You guys should do boys striped pajamas.
That sounds depressing as hell.
I don't want to watch a Serbian film. I don't want to watch stuff that's just like mean for the sake of being mean. I don't know if there's much artistic value for me personally in that kind of endeavor.
Well, you're not going to enjoy Terrifier 2 for your new category that you're bringing.
But see, I even think that because I watched, what is it, All Hallows Eve, like the first whatever thing he did with it.
Like the short? Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like, I get it. I think there's some fun in that, even though it is brutal kills. But it's like, we're going so far that it spins back around on being campy, you know? Whereas
I appreciate that you get that.
if you're just doing stuff for the sake of being mean, I don't really care about it at this point in my life.
Yeah, we'll never cover that ever.
I think
Don't suggest it.
I mean, I think at some point when you're 20, it's like, yeah, go watch the most extreme like shit you can find. But I don't care about that. Do you? I mean, do you guys?
Zero interest in it.
Yeah.
I want to watch movies for two reasons: to explore my emotions / have my thoughts expanded. I don't think something like a Serbian film does that.
Right.
There's a lot of shit in the horror genre that I've watched where I'm like, this is just some Saw movies at a certain point are just, what is this?
Yeah.
What are we doing here? And then for the other reason is to live out an adventure that I know I'll never get to live out. And if those can be combined, Children of Men, hey.
I don't know, man. I think
Last
Civil
Action
War's
Hero,
pretty close.
hey.
If we might be fighting.
Okay, then let's
3
throw
years
that
from now.
under reference or that's prep material. Jesus
God.
Christ. There's about to be
God
a civil war when
damn,
I
dude.
throw your ass to this fucking table.
I host. I can't. You can't.
I can decipher your fucking notes.
I don't know, dude. It's written in.
Arial 10.
Wingdings.
Oh, never mind.
Square
Good luck,
boxes.
dude.
Welcome back to 5 Day Rentals. We're talking about Cruising from 1980. Karan, thank you for putting your jockstrap back on.
I had to wash it. Stank.
I mean, you did have a greasy burger for lunch, so
You guys ever worn one?
I've never worn a jockstrap. I can say that much.
I wore one with a cup in it for football,
When did you play football?
middle school.
Okay. I would love to see that.
I didn't
picture.
make the high school cut.
Did you get your dick knocked into dirt?
I did, dude. There was honestly one time where it was like tackle drill, and the guy that lined me up with was like, pure aggression. Like, wasn't getting any, clearly. Just looking for something to demolish. And he hit me so fucking hard. And I thought, it's not worth it. I don't want to do this. What am I doing out here?
This is a Serbian film of activities.
Yeah, I hate this.
What is this?
So I didn't stick with it. When I got to high school, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do band. How about that? Like, this is more my speed.
What did you play in band?
Trombone.
Rusty.
It's fucking fun, dude.
Yeah.
Shit's good, dude. It's a good time. When you march, you get to be at the front because you got that big fucking...
Or you'll hit the person in front of you
Yeah.
in their head.
Yeah. That's why they put all the trombones at the front of marching band.
Thank you for that.
That's cool.
I had a good time, dude. I didn't regret the decision at all.
How many years did you spend in band?
Well, I did all of middle school plus all of high school.
You did 4 years of trombone?
Yeah.
So if I pull out a trombone right now, you could play it.
I could knock out like Mary Had a Little Lamb or something. I don't think I could play like,
Camptown races.
as good. Yeah. As good as I was in high school on it, I don't think I would be that good now. But I think I could knock out like a simple melody for you.
I I think you should go purchase one and wake me up in the morning to that.
Mine still might be at my parents' house. Like I could.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I think they still have it somewhere.
You could be back by 5.
Yeah. Well, just
Easy.
have them drive it up, dude.
No, I don't want to mess with that.
Bones, you've worn a jockstrap.
Yeah. I played catcher for a year of baseball,
There you go.
and it was very important to make sure I had a cup. I didn't wear a cup for football. Because by that point, my fucking
Your what?
my dick wouldn't fit.
You could curl it up in there.
Mhm.
Why does my dick have to pay a price? Because I want to play football. That's not fair.
But you could have been our like.
Oh,
Just
mom
get-
got a new job in Wisconsin. We're moving the family. That's not fair to the kid.
Get a bigger cup. They
What?
make different sizes.
Yeah, and then I'm walking out there like fucking humongous out on the fucking wastelands of.
I mean, it's better than losing a nut.
Nah, I didn't. You get a bigger cup. They don't really make them where they're longer in the front. They just size up the entire fucking thing. So now I got a dinner plate and I can't actually move. My midsection is locked into place because my thighs can't move.
Just fold it up, dude.
Yeah, curl it.
Yeah, maybe I should have just tucked.
Were you
No.
good at catcher?
I was a pretty damn good catcher. So, well, I say 2 seasons because I did a season of pitching machine where they regulated the pitches. So that I just got a good routine, and you kind of command
Right.
the infield, you know?
Yeah.
And then the next year I was on this is going to just open up a fucking can of worms. Next year I got the old famous Bones headgear.
Well.
So couldn't play.
Mm-hmm.
Then as soon as I got those bad boys off, there was a different league. They invited me to go play. Coach was father of one of the kids. I wanted to try out for catcher.
But his kid was
His
catcher.
kid was already the catcher.
Yeah.
So I just got booted out to outfield. But I was a damn good outfielder.
Mhm.
I would periodically get to play catcher when he didn't show up to practice because he never had to run laps if he didn't show up to practice. Like it was that shitty of a scenario. Like literally one game, I was hated on this team. I was fucking bullied because I was the youngest kid because I just qualified for the age range.
Mhm.
So half the kids were actually high schoolers. I was 7th grade. They would pick on me. There were like 2 kids that smoked on it. They thought they were all fucking cool and shit.
All right, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Well, one of them really fucking regretted smoking cigarettes when I punched him in the mouth and while he was smoking a cigarette. So it was like a Saturday game, big deal. It was like, you're not starting. I was like, I'm not even starting in center field. Sat on the bench the whole fucking time. Finally get to go play. It's like 4th or 5th inning, run out to center field. And the kid is just sucking his catcher fucking constantly.
Mm-hmm.
And I mouthed off like, wow, you're doing a really good job. And the coach was like, you're done. You're out. And I was like, no, I'm going to go play. And I just fucking ran. When it was time.
Already got the gear on.
It was our time for fucking outfield. So I ran out in fucking center field. Fowler, get back in here. Blah, blah. I'll cut my name. Actually, no, people know my last name. I run back in. As I'm running back in, I see my dad march into the fucking dugout and just fucking put the fear of God into my coach, dude. Like, I was like, okay. It's like one of the most badass, like, oh, my dad is fucking tough because he's normally quiet and doesn't give a shit, but just put that dude finger in the chest, blah, 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 blah. Like, I was like strutting my shit, walking.
Peacocking like a
Yeah.
motherfucker.
Yeah. And I think it was like that following week that I punched that kid in the face.
Yeah.
Like he came up rolling on like his BMX bike. You think you're hot shit, huh? Like, fucked up our whole game, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you fucked up the whole season, you piece of shit. You suck, you know? I'm sitting there trying to listen to Bone Thugs and Harmony with my friend.
Hell yeah, dude.
Then I had this other friend, Joseph Reed. His older brother was like a real piece of shit, and he sucker punched me in the stomach one day, right? Like when we were getting on the, like in the line to go on the bus. Turns out because he was like trying to impress these kids. So he fucking sucker punched like into Firecracker when fucking Chuck falls back like stomach and solar plex. Oh, I absolutely waylaid the shit out of that kid.
Yeah.
I contemplated opening the emergency exit and throwing him out the back of the school bus. Like, just back of the head, hammer fist. I had so many fucking fights when I was in Guam. Like, I think that's when I moved back, I had like, you gotta chill the fuck out. And have not had a physical altercation since, but just got it out of my system. This kid named Chuck, I beat this kid up like 4 or 5 times. He would mouth off. And then a week later, I'd be at his house playing Killer Instinct. But I almost choked him with a clothesline. Like, he got bad. Like, I saw red and shit. Like, why you make me do this, Chuck?
Hey, I had a buddy, or not a buddy, but he picked on me all the time. His name was Chad. He was like this bigger kid, and I fucking beat the shit out of him one day, and then my parents had signed me up for basketball or some shit, and his dad was the coach, and we just became like super good friends, and like we'd spend the night at each other's houses and shit. I was like, you remember when I kicked your ass? He's like, shut up, dude.
Dan, did you play any baseball?
Yeah. To answer the question, I have worn a jockstrap. I know we took a major tangent. Sorry.
Yeah, I played baseball.
What positions?
I played outfield, and then I played pitcher.
That's pretty good.
But it's same scenario. Our, well, of course, it was military, so our coach got deployed. This assistant coach came in, and his son, he wanted him to be a pitcher, so I didn't get as many reps. And then, well, I don't think he got deployed. I think he just went on training or something. Our regular coach came back, and he was like, well, why the hell didn't you pitch Dan? And he's like, oh, I didn't know I was supposed to. And he's like, yeah, he's our pitcher. Like, he was supposed to be getting all the practice time and shit.
Yeah.
So he got his ass reamed, and I never went anywhere.
I know that's a very common like dude thing to say is like, yeah, I could have been really fucking good, but there was this other guy.
Right.
And in my thing, it's like the reason we all have that story is because it just fucking happened. Like it's rampant.
Yeah.
But
you didn't get the chance.
Yeah. And I wasn't a like great hitter. Like I had power. I didn't have accuracy enough to be a pitcher, but I could get the ball from center field into the infield. Like I didn't need a cutoff guy.
Right.
So like I had an arm, I just didn't have accuracy necessarily. And I wasn't like, you know, I was like fast twitch fast. But catcher is like, there's some like command element to it.
Right.
Which is like when I played football, I was a great practice quarterback. Like when we would practice running the option, because I was mostly a lineman, but they'd be like, Fowler, you're running like option practice. To the point where they were like, you got to hand it off this play because you're fucking them up. Like they actually need to get some contact with it. All right. But my arm was shit. I had power, but I just didn't have accuracy. But again, it was like, you know who I'm talking about. There were 2 guys that were going to be quarterback no matter what. And I was like, hey, we fucking remember the Titans this shit and start running an option offense. I'm your fucking guy. I can take a hit, you know? And this is like right on the cusp of your big guys starting to come back and be quarterbacks again, because like we got into little guys for a little bit. And then we started to realize, 6-foot guys could be athletic and take hits, start moving the ball.
Put some more meat on that Ben Roethlisberger, baby.
I'm no Patrick Mahomes. I don't have that fucking ability. I'm more of a Tom Brady. By the way, I hope there's no nightshades on the pizza you guys ordered.
What did one player say? He eats like a deer. I always remember that quote.
Can you imagine Tom Brady watching movies and like analyzing them?
That's interesting.
I don't know if he could. He'd be too busy kissing his son to pay attention.
His son's in the way.
Yeah. You're only seeing a third of the screen.
All right. God damn, we're cruising, dude. We're not cruising at all. We are at a slow rate of speed here.
We'll never
All right.
get through this movie.
Burns just got assigned his assignment for cruising. He moves into his new pad. He checks out some Beefcake magazines. He goes down to toss them, and he's introduced to his neighbor, Ted. They go out for a cup of coffee. Burns, he gets his chance to kind of soak in where he's at and build his new identity by chatting with Ted. Ted, as Bones has said, is very bright and cheery kind of guy. He brings up the killing of a Colombian teacher, which Elderson does mention that to Burns in the beginning, that there was a teacher from Colombia that was killed. So the news is getting out in that community that there is a killer.
Yeah, it wasn't big news, but within their community,
Yeah, but
it's making the rounds.
Yeah, I think it's a good clue for Burns to be like, okay, so everybody's not like, they don't know what's going on. So they know something's up. Burns says the cops will get him. They'll figure it out. But he has a lovely meeting with Ted, and they have lunch and coffee. Burns starts cruising that night. He hits the clubs. He starts seeing what's going on around him. He checks out some local stores. He does go into one. He asks the meanings of the bandanas.
I know we're going long, but this was a segment that I prepared. Do you guys want to play?
Guess the bandana?
Is it, yeah, is
What are
it
we gonna
guess
do?
the bandana
It's Guess
color?
the Bandana.
Let's do it.
It is Powers Booth in that scene, right?
It is
Yes, he's-
Powers Booth.
Yeah. Great Powers Booth little cameo for no reason at all, besides he's a great actor that was around New York at the time, I guess.
Kron, what does black mean?
Internal bleeding?
Not your stool.
All right. Black. Maybe like a top or bottom thing.
It's S&M.
Oh, heavy leather, bro.
Heavy leather.
Okay.
I thought there were two easy ones. I thought that would be
I'm gonna
the
be
first of the easy.
terrible at
I'm going to
this.
give you the other easy one. Yellow.
No, you're into water sports. baby.
Water sports.
That's in the movie.
Shut
But
the
They
fuck
don't
This
have a
movie is
black
about-
one in the movie, dude.
Well, they all got
He
black.
explains it.
No, he does. He never says a black bandana means this. I could have gotten the piss one, dude.
Okay.
It's 1-0, dude. Fuck off.
Light blue.
I think in the movie that's blowjob.
Yes. Good job. Oral sex. Dan. Dark blue.
Ass? Eat the ass?
Anal sex. I'll give it to you. All right. Now you guys get to play together.
2-1, baby. Fuck
Go ahead.
off, Kron.
Go ahead.
No,
Dan just said
we're
butt.
not keeping
Fine.
scores. This was a friendly contest. I thought we would do the. Look at his face. All right, Kron.
All right, should have just said butt for black. Oh yeah, that counts.
If you had said like whips or shit,
All right.
leather, I would have given you that
what
for
you were
S&M.
getting into when you
All right.
did
Of
this.
course I did. That's why I went to Wikipedia where there's only like 12 of them.
Read better
fuck.
created.
All right. Kron Brown.
I mean, shit,
You
shit,
got it.
shit right on him.
You into
Scat.
poo-poo, you.
All right. Let's flip. Excuse me. Let's flip it. Dan, do you know what color hustler or prostitution would be?
Pink.
Green.
Fuck.
Kron, bondage.
Let's go with like a purple.
Gray.
God damn.
Dan, piercing.
Pink.
Purple.
Fuck. Damn, that's my other guess.
Fisting.
Pink.
Red.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean,
I got that one right.
well, your hand's going to be
All right.
covered in when you pull it out.
All right. I don't know how to do this one. What color would be anything goes?
White.
I'll give you a hint. Famously, a word that is hard to rhyme.
Orange.
Orange.
I figured it'd be like a neutral color.
Yeah. These were pulled from the handkerchief code on Wikipedia. It does says longer, more elaborate lists may be found online, but many of the color variations in them are less often used in practice. So these are the just
Basic
run of
ones.
them. These are your
Mhm.
standard colors. God, I mean, are they producing like half purple, half red? Like I'm into ass piercing.
I mean, maybe. We're just not shopping at the right stores
Okay.
to know, dude.
I just felt that this was necessary to keep this review still 5DR adjacent.
I almost ordered
it's-
some bandanas, but
Thank God you didn't.
I have one.
I'm
I
fine.
carry one almost every day.
What is it? Color
Yellow?
is it?
I just stick with the like blue or red for the most part. Like the standard kind of,
Stay out of LA, bro.
you can get them anywhere.
What do you do with this bandana?
Honestly, mostly wipe my daughter's nose with it.
All right, yeah, I feel that. All right, as long as you weren't blowing your nose and putting it in your fucking pocket, that's just
I'm-
fucking weird.
So mostly cleaning up my daughter. Occasionally, if like the thing at the bathroom is like out of towels, I'll just wipe my hands with it. I don't think I've ever blown my nose and put it back into my pocket.
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
That's pretty gnarly.
I've seen like older dude, like old men,
Yeah.
just blow it and then back pocket. I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
Mhm.
A snot rocket in your back pocket.
I see no issue with it. I mean, if it's being washed later.
Yeah. I think it's okay. Like if it's just your germs,
Yeah.
like who cares at that point? But yeah, I just look at it as like there are so many times where I'm like, God damn, I need a paper towel right now, that I just started putting one in my pocket to be like,
Yeah.
I'm constantly having to like clean up shit on the floor now. I'm, like,
All right, run through the bandanas. The store clerk explains all these. Burns continues to cruise the clubs and build his undercover persona.
he picks yellow. When this guy explains what the bandanas are, when he goes back to a club, he's got a yellow bandana hanging out of his pocket.
This is a big kind of mystery of the movie. Like, why did he pick that one? Did he not?
There's a part of me that understands, like, I don't want to, like, worst case scenario, some guy walks up and pisses on me.
Yes.
And it's like, that is gross, but it's a lot less bad than, like, well, you have the bandana for, like, fucking in the ass. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's a worse conversation than just some guy pissed on you.
Yep.
I can go home and wash these pants. You know what I mean? Like,
And when called out, he says, "No, I just like to watch." So
Mhm.
he's even another step of just, if this is the like you said, the least worst thing or the least aggressive thing I could be in,
yeah.
and then he's choosing or trying to be even further removed from it.
This goes into a lot of the theories of why he's not the killer. Because he didn't know what he was doing. He didn't know.
Yeah, he's obviously like overwhelmed when Powers Booth is just like listing stuff off.
Yeah.
So you could also take it as like he just gambled and that's the one.
Mm-hmm.
So when the guy was like, "You in the golden showers?" and he's like, fuck, no, damn it, that was I just like to watch." Like, did he have that internal?
Take that shit out of your pocket, then.
But yeah, it's also, yeah, maybe his thought was like, well, nobody's going to be into this.
I told you to take that damn harmonica outside.
Can't play that here.
I think that's the other gamble, right? Is like how many dudes are into pissing on people. It's like I'll pick the most obscure thing, hoping that no one else at the club is rocking
Yeah,
the
it's
yellow
just a
bandana.
bunch of surfers that have been stung by stingrays or a jellyfish.
He's like, I mean, the worst thing that could happen is I got to pee on somebody. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, I think that is that's like the least.
smartest move.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Like
want to
it-
know why Tom Brady has never had athlete's foot?
Piss will roll off a leather jacket. That's,
You don't have to wash it.
exactly.
Well, you got to wax it beforehand.
Yeah. You got to get some water repellent material in there.
Some Rain-X.
Yeah.
Burns does wear the yellow bandana to a club. This perks the interest of one of the guys in the clubs. You into water sports? No, I like to watch. Dude gets pissed off. He leaves.
Take that shit out of your pocket, then.
Burns hits the weights as he sinks deeper into his new lifestyle.
I've been drinking water all goddamn day to waste this fucking cruise on you.
His lifting is crazy, where he's like, ah!
God damn, I wish I had that shoulder flexibility to do that
I think
behind
my-
the head press like that.
I think my dad had those exact weights.
Those sand-filled weights.
I don't think his were like concrete. Because
No, I
some
think
of
they're
the,
sand-filled, dude.
I don't know, man. Like some of the outer casing broke off, like the little red casing that they were in. And it just looked like a concrete, like somebody weighed out, that's 30 pounds of concrete.
It could be. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's what they were.
I've certainly watched my fair share of how to make your own home gym. And there are dudes out there that have made concrete plates.
I think it's what my dad had
Yeah.
on his little bench at the
But-
house.
They look like the old
Yeah.
style sand weights that everybody had. Like,
Mhm.
everybody's
Hear it.
dad had a little shitty bench press,
Yeah.
So,
Curl bar and shit.
yeah. He's maybe doing 45 pounds. I'm not trying to knock him, but
He's
They're
a
much smaller.
he is a little though. Like he's
yeah.
when they run him down at the beginning, they're like all the victims are 140 to 150. Like that's
Proportionally, I think he's doing great. I
Yeah.
just think those particular weights, it was kind of hard to ever feel like you're moving a lot of weight.
right.
Wait, they're also just fucking expensive. Like it's a big deal to buy a 45-pound plate.
Yeah.
But I think he looks good, man. I think that they do they clothe him well, like in the baggy clothes in the beginning to make him look even smaller,
Mhm.
to kind of hide the fact that like once he starts wearing the tank tops, he's got good early 80s gay guy definition,
I
Yeah.
think he realizes, like, okay, I need to tone up. And I think it works for the whole undercover thing.
Yeah.
He continues to cruise. He gets a little more hands-on with some of his cruising. He visits the local park where a lot of the guys go to hang out and do certain activities. He does visit with Elderson now and shares the information that he's gathered so far. He says one name keeps coming up. It's Tommy McCruz, who owns a lot of the cruising clubs. Elderson says, we know that guy already and we can't move on him. Basically telling me, like, tell me something I don't know.
Mhm. It is his boss is like, that's all you got? Like after 2 weeks of doing this shit?
Yeah, but I also think maybe it's like, okay, he's actually like bringing me some information. So Elderson's like, all right, maybe we keep this up. That's how I kind of felt about it.
Yeah, I think it also just goes to inform how disconnected from everything he was even before he started.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he's like, you just know that name. Like you just hearing that, like he's a mobster that owns all this shit. Like that's basic information.
Right.
Like it's a way of saying like, yeah, you started at a negative with this.
We see a hot young thing looking for some strange. He starts chatting with with another harsh voiced man.
Is this in the park?
Yes,
I'd invite you up to my place, but I don't have air conditioning yet.
it's a big thing.
Yeah.
Right now in that time.
How about the park?
How hot does it get in New York City?
I mean, I'm imagining it's probably pretty shitty in the summertime.
I mean, is it that like
I don't think summertime in the living's easy.
we have to get hot?
1980.
We have to get way hotter here than New York City does. I mean, they're so much farther north than us.
I think there's something with the infrastructure that
Maybe it
that
keeps the
makes
heat.
it worse.
The concrete keeps that heat.
I mean, there's got to be like people that live in Maine, though, right? That like they probably still don't have AC.
A lot of people in Seattle.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like New York. New York is not geographically that far away from.
Yeah, but I think maybe Bones is saying, that you got so much electricity and concrete there. Like,
Yeah, I could see that. Just radiates heat.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
Well, it's like Chicago, like the windy city. It's because it's so close to that particular lake. The
Mhm.
weather system creates a bitter cold where there people are like, I've lived in Minnesota and it gets fucking cold, but Chicago is a completely different beast, like Chicago cold.
Mhm.
And then combine that with the wind as it like funnels through those skyscrapers, just speed escalates.
Right.
But that's what I've always taken it as, like summer in New York. It's like there's no trees, there's no breeze because
Mhm.
there's fucking buildings everywhere. And like you said, like when people build earthship houses, they design them in a way of like, oh, the concrete's going to absorb heat during the day and push it out at night to keep us warm in the summer or in the winter. So the inverse is probably true. Where
I think like back in the day, Philadelphia was like smelled so horrible in the summer that they would like all leave. It just stank so bad because it was hot and stanky.
our big thing in the Midwest is the humidity. That's what makes the changes fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. I mean, I've never been up there. It just seems like they would be cooler than we are in the summers. Like naturally. They're further towards the pole than we are.
I think about this all the time, and like in my travels, like, oh, I went to Wisconsin this time of year. Wow, this weather's fucking great.
Mm-hmm.
And you talk to a local and they're like, yeah, you just missed the bugs. It was fucking atrocious for 3 months. It was fucking brutal. So like the temperature's great, but so there's always something, it's like,
Mhm.
My cousin, her husband, we went to Arizona, and it was like November, and I was like, this is fucking fantastic. And he was like, yeah, come in July, dude. It's like 1:15.
Yeah.
I was like, God, that sounds terrible. He's like, yeah, it's like every day. I was like, fuck.
oh fuck. When I got off the plane in Vegas and I was like, fuck this dry heat bullshit. Fuck that. Like, this fucking sucks.
My blood wasn't meant for Las Vegas.
Fuck.
We did like New Mexico at some point, and it was like humid hot when we left Nashville. When we got there, it was like 78.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it was like nice and shit. So
Yeah, we did high desert of New Mexico in like April.
mhm.
And I was like, this is fucking great. Like, I'm in shorts, but a windbreaker.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
And if you're looking for a wonderful state to move to, I hear New Mexico's great.
Yeah, make it New Mexico.
Always.
Move there.
Number 1, New Mexico.
Albuquerque, Santa Fe, hit those areas hard.
Yeah, really hard. 5DR supports you moving to New Mexico.
Yeah, jump in the Discord. I think we've got some literature.
Yeah.
And if somebody's like, don't move here, it's just a joke. It's a little,
Yeah,
it's a little dig.
They love you.
want
They
They
love new
want to be
people
friends
coming
with
in.
you. They want to chat puppets with you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. These two decide to head into the bushes and do some activities. Our harsh voice killer here, he comes out, stabs dude in the back. Back to Burns. He gives it to his lady the next morning. Burns seems he's kind of out of it and says, don't let me lose you. They kiss. So he's basically telling Nancy, like, we start to see the struggle here, I guess.
Yeah, he's like drifting further and further away from, this relationship throughout the film.
I think this is great. Like this
Mhm.
freaking showing you this is obviously his. I don't know, man. There's sometimes that I don't think Burns is a gay man.
I don't think he is.
I don't think he's a gay
No.
man. I think he's so into it that he is struggling with, should I go all the way with this undercover project?
Yeah. Is it worth it to get the guy to go all in?
So you don't think he's gay either?
I go back and forth. Like I said, I think you could read the movie as he's the guy the whole time. Like he is the killer.
I'm not talking about the killer. I'm talking about if he's a gay man.
Well, but I think if you're saying that the killer is involved in the lifestyle, like if he's not having sex with men, then he's at least closeted and like looking for that. So, you don't have to sleep with a dude to be gay. You know what I mean? Like it's the attraction element and that whole kind of thing. So,
All right.
so I could read the movie either way. I think the movie though does imply in certain spots that he is not, But I think if you want to read around the edges of the film, it could be that he is just repressing it. He's trying to live what he considers to be a normal lifestyle. But is he secretly just kind of like fighting this the entire time? Which makes him like kill people, makes him, lash out and do stuff that is terrible.
Do you think that he never had any thoughts of maybe I'm a gay man until this undercover project came up? And maybe now that's surfacing? Or do you think it's always been there?
I think it's an open to interpretation thing.
How you view. All right.
Well, I think the movie is set up in a way that you can read it a lot of different, directions.
Yeah, because you talked about, is this worth it for the sake of my own sanity, reinforcement of my sexuality? Is it worth it for the sake of stopping the killings? Is it worth it for advancing my career, which is, only really brought up 2 or 3 times until he's, officially promoted? Is it the Mormon kid that gets into goth music and goes from one extreme to the other?
Right.
Like from just being a square thrown into the absolute fringe of a culture. Which is why the Ted thing is kind of interesting of like, oh, maybe it sparked that he was gay, but he was an S&M heavy leather gay. He was a Ted gay. I don't mean that to be offensive, but I think it establishes quite a bit, like in that sex scene there in Missionary, but he's not looking at her. He's kind of head in the pillow, just going, and it kind of focuses on her.
Mm-hmm.
She can tell like he's going through it, but this is a different thing. I think a weaker choice would have been like, he's hitting her from the back and pushes her head down or something like that.
Turn around.
Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more, I'm still into heterosex, but I'm sort of ashamed just at sex in general.
Well, you think he's having these feelings and he goes to Nancy to kind of reassure himself that, all right, Nancy's my lady. And
yeah, because
so the sex is a test.
Because half an hour later he shows up and he's just fucking scrambled. And that's when she's like, you haven't been around.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we should take a break or whatever. And he's just That's the one escape that he does have. Because that's after he can't meet with Ted, right?
After this, he does meet with Ted.
Well, he goes and knocks on the door, and Ted's boyfriend's back.
Right.
Yeah, a little later on.
Okay.
Yeah. He meets with Ted again now. And this is when Ted kind of explains the play and that his
Yeah.
boyfriend's kind of a...
Ted's like, I got to go
Asshole.
back to work.
My boyfriend's back, and
He's
it
a
means I
fucking
have to get a
asshole.
job. He's Ajax from the Warriors.
I don't want to be a barista.
He's got the bod, dude.
That I think that
He looks
the-
fucking good, dude. I'm like, goddamn, New York lean. He
Ajax,
fucking pulls it
or-
off. Yeah.
I think that is the same fucking park bench that he gets handcuffed to in the Warriors at the end of this movie.
Oh, the one when he's got the exchange with the killer?
Yeah, I think that's the same fucking, like, same spot. That's what I'm focused on. I'm like, that's the fucking bench from the Warriors.
Maybe Freakin' was like, hey, where'd you guys film that? This is a pretty good looking.
We talked to a buddy who went to a concert with us, and him and his wife, and I mentioned the Warriors, and they were very interested in what that was. I was like, hey, you guys should watch it tonight.
They didn't know the Warriors?
Nah. They're like, well, what's that about? I'm like, it's about these like dudes from Coney Island. They're in a gang.
Hey, boppers.
They get wrapped up and they think they killed another gang and they got to make it back. And I was like, they meet like these dudes who are dressed up in baseball uniforms and in the orphans.
It's just the Odyssey.
Yeah. It is so weird when you talk to like non-movie people though. And it's just like, oh, you don't know the war, like, you don't know that movie? You never seen Repo Man?
Never seen the Warriors.
Come on.
Fuck. What you been doing with your life?
But then they'll bust out like, oh, you haven't seen the last 10 Marvel movies in the theater? Like, no. Can't say I have.
So Ted basically says, hey, my buddy, my boy's coming back. I got to get a job. I can't just sit around and write a play. Burns listens, all that shit. He cruises later that night. He hits a club where everyone is dressed as a cop. He kind of freaks out because somebody comes up and starts questioning him on why he's not dressed up for precinct night. And so he thinks he's been outed as an undercover cop, but really that night at the club, it's just precinct night where everybody dresses up as a cop.
Mm-hmm. It's cop night.
Which
Your
I think is
job.
fucking hilarious.
And you showed up in the wrong outfit.
So basically they ask him to leave because he's not dressed right. Burns is followed after he leaves this by a guy. He approaches, who asks if he wants to take a walk. Burns refuses. Later he makes love to Nancy again, but seems bothered by his thoughts. We cut to a dude. He's closing up his store and leaving to some engagement. He hits a porno theater. He steps into a booth with a John.
That guy's car is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
He has like a Mercedes convertible. It's got like the old big rims on it, like with like the logo on them and shit. I don't know what like make or model that is, but it's just like old school cool. You know what I mean?
So you're a Mercedes guy now.
The old ones I think look cool. The new ones, they just look like modern bullshit to me. But when you see one of these old ones in a movie, they just...
So you're probably looking for like a 79 C class.
I don't know what it is. It looks cool though. I mean, it's got a look to it that's badass.
All right, we'll remember that when we get you gifts like this year.
Yeah, give me an old Mercedes that's in pristine condition.
If you're good, you know.
Damn.
Don't assign a puppet category.
Oh.
Think about it.
Not worth it.
All right, this guy, he hits a porn theater. He steps into a booth with another man. They share a movie. He gets into a blowjob position But this guy starts stabbing him in the back. Killer strikes again. You made me do that.
You made me do that.
And then he leaves. Burns returns to his place. He has a drink, tries to relax, but he can't.
It's not super raspy. It's more bassy. You made me do that.
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 Do you have air conditioning?
I can only stab you with air conditioning.
Do I look like a cop?
And yours is verging into a little bit of like, I'm not wearing hockey pads.
That's why I said, do I look like a cop?
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
Swear to me.
Me and my wife say that all the time.
But what do you say when you are wearing hockey pads?
She's like, you can't perform in those because I got the full goalie on.
Try to get back me, bitch. Try to get past this.
You work me. And she's like,
Yeah.
you always hit me away with a stick. I was like, you can't score a goal.
You'll never succeed, Gordon Bombay.
Slapping that big glove.
I'm pushing her head down with it. She's like, stop. Eldison meets with the chief of detectives.
Do they sell those like novelty goalie mitts as like oven mitts? Like, are there hardcore Blues fans that
Sounds
when
like an
when they're pulling
expensive
pizza rolls out of the oven? That's
For the kids.
yeah, they're using a
Maybe.
goalie mitt.
Sounds expensive though. Like if you're getting a full
I mean, if you want to support the team,
NHL approved.
I mean, I'm sure they can get regular oven mitts with just Blues logos on them, right?
it's not the same though.
Mm.
You want one that caught a puck, dude.
Congratulations, Blues. 12 wins in a row. Probably going to make the playoffs this year.
St. Louis, please quit yelling Blues out in public. It is confusing people.
Don't stop, St. Louis. Support your teams. The Blues will be there longer than whatever rock band comes to your city. Are you looking at me like I just said something offensive?
I don't. It's not offensive.
That is a face of please keep
Move
going.
on.
All right. Eldison meets with chief of detectives. He says, we haven't figured this out quite yet. Just give him some time. He says both of our reputations are on the line. Clean it up before the Democratic convention comes to town or you're fired. The cops find a print on the quarter at the porno theater for the killer. Burns keeps cruising.
That seemed impressive to me. That I get that they had fingerprint technology, but in 1979 they had the ability to get a print off of a smudged, bloody quarter.
Mhm.
And he throws it in there just to keep the movie going, right? To give him more time in there.
Yeah.
Is that the okay.
Yeah, you buy a little time to, you know. Well, there's guys standing outside, right? So you got to make it kind of look like you were in there doing something before you exit.
Right.
If the guy walks in and you immediately walk out,
Jack Reacher would be all over this.
that's suspicious.
Why do you pay for parking?
Mm-hmm.
You've already killed the guy. Why do you pay for the porno?
Mm-hmm.
You think Jack Reacher would have figured cruising out like 2 days before Burns did?
100%, because he would have just beat the shit out of all of these men. Season 3 was fucking incredible. They made some wild changes, but I loved it.
I have to take your word for it.
This is our famous fisting scene of the movie.
Famous.
That night. Yeah.
Probably, I mean, in all of cinema, maybe my favorite fisting scene.
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's there by default for me.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's one of one.
If you had to choose one, I mean, this one would.
I think I prefer when
Pretty
George's
tame.
dad falls on Fusilli Jerry on Seinfeld. 1 in a million shot.
That's
doc.
not fisting, though.
Well-
It fell on a pasta statue.
But you don't have to elaborate on that one. It's text us in the group
It's a
text.
fisting ranking, not a butt play ranking.
Okay.
It's different.
That I believe that this is my solo entry.
Your favorite fisting scene?
Burns sees the guy that approached him a few nights ago and followed him. He asks the barkeep who he is. He says his name's Skip and that he's a bad dude. Stay away from him. Burns gets hit on. They snort some fun drugs and they dance. A very
Aggressive.
It's my
fucking
favorite part of the
dance.
movie.
Skip is watching from afar. Burns points out Skip to a cop because he thinks that Skip is a killer.
That's Skip.
He at least, not necessarily that he thinks he's a killer. It's just this is the most.
A man of interest.
Yeah, this is the worst person so far that I've come across.
Mm-hmm.
The cops, they start chatting with our ladies from the night from the beginning of the film.
I think I take that back because he does try to pick him up. Right? He leaves and he follows him.
For a cop, whenever he gets kicked out of cop night, yeah.
Yeah.
They talk to our ladies of the night from the beginning of the movie. They learn that Skip is a cook at the Iron Horse. Our ladies of the night also share that the killer likes to sing a song whenever he kills.
Well,
I'm here.
That guy.
You're here. We're here.
Until I woke up
voice of
at
an
3
angel.
a.m. this morning, guys, with Quran in my room.
Is that why you picked the bunk bed? Because you thought, well,
So I was on
that's
top,
not
I
enough.
was safe.
Okay.
Hey, you can't say you were sleeping if I had my fist inside you.
Maybe I was.
I'm getting a puppet movie whether you like it or not.
All right, I'm down.
Let's do another Criterion pick. These cops, they hit up the Iron Horse. They chat with Skip. They get a table. The cops notice that the steak knives look familiar at the Iron Horse.
You can tell they're not actors, man. The way that they are just trying to sell the, oh, shit. Oh,
There he is.
see that shit? See that big ass fucking knife? Anyway, I'll have a Heineken. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, goddamn.
They get a lesson on a knife and how it could be similar or the exact one that is used in the murders. They, of course, take it back to the police. Elderson lets Burns know about the knife, breakthrough, and to look out for it. Burns gets Skip to follow him into a motel. The cops are monitoring this.
I love the dialogue of like Skip going, what do you want me to do? What is this shit? And, Burns being like, well, you can, yeah, it's fine. Come
Time me
on.
up.
Time me up. Come on. What the fuck? Like, that's enough for you to be like, oh shit, you're obviously not the guy.
Yeah.
So Burns has a wire on him. Cops are listening in.
You
They
came
hear-
in too soon.
It gets fucked up and they can only hear bits and pieces. So they think that Burns is in trouble. So the cops
Yeah,
bust in.
the wire's burning him. He's sweating.
The other thing I love is that there's nobody around. These guys are in this car. Dark street. They watch Pacino and Skip go up into the room. They're sitting there. And then one of them's like, let's go to work. And then they fucking open up this briefcase, like, and then scramble to set all this shit up. Like, I hooked up the Zoom and all these fucking mics and shit. It's the equivalent of, all right, we're going to start recording at 10. And I just threw the shit on the table in a panic. It could have been laid out. Nobody's watching them.
They're paid hourly. You don't work until it's.
He just got on shift.
Yeah.
Well, don't one of them actually says like, come on, 2 more hours or 2 more minutes and I'm on overtime or some
Mhm.
shit.
So their shit's fucked up. They freak out. They think something's happening to Burns. They bust in. They arrest Skip and Burns because, of course, Burns is undercover. They take him back to the police station. They start to question them. They play bad cop with Skip. He tells them that this was Burns' idea the whole time. They open up the door. A very large black man in a cowboy hat slaps the absolute loving shit out of Burns out of his chair.
Who is that?
What was that?
Who is that guy?
He turns around and walks out of the room.
And you know what this is, right?
It's good.
Why?
Good cop, bad cop, cowboy cop.
This was apparently a real thing. The
Mhm.
idea is in court, if you say, a 7-foot tall black cowboy in a jockstrap came in and slapped me around,
They think you're crazy.
It's such a ridiculous statement. Who was that?
Who's that?
He was
What
an
the
actual
fuck?
cop. And he actually did this at
Yeah.
points in his career.
Yeah, the guy said, like, I used to do that.
Yeah.
I would go in a jockstrap and a cowboy hat and slap people.
They separate Burns and Skip.
It is so funny in the movie, though. When
It is very like, what the fuck is
who
going
is that guy?
They separate the two. Burns washes up and says, "You came in too early, guys." He tells the cowboy, "You really hit me," and he tosses his fucking hat out the
I love
window.
that.
Mm-hmm.
You really hit me, man.
They continue to push Skip about the murders. They're trying to get a confession. They bring in
That's not all they're trying to get out of him.
Jockstrap Cowboy again. He hits Skip.
Who is that guy?
And they,
fuck?
they question him about the knife. We also get the chief of detectives. He's come in as well because they think they got their man. They want Skip to give them a sample and do the floating balls test. Later they
Which
learn.
we almost did,
Mhm.
but I decided to just do the handkerchief quiz instead.
Thank you.
Time for my game. I have a bucket of water here.
Later we learn that the prints on the quarter they found at the porno theater does not match Skip. He's the wrong guy. Burns visits Nancy again. She asks what's going on. She asks why you don't come around anymore. He says, "I'm tired."
Tom Petty told me not to.
Come around. Yeah. And he's like, "I'm doing a lot of stuff and it's affecting me."
The camera operator for Game of Pleasure?
You got it.
Burns doesn't understand either what's going on with him. He's, of course, facing many new things in his life from this project that he's decided to take on. They decided to cut loose for a while, so they basically break up, take a break. Burns meets Elderson again. Burns says, "I'm not getting paid enough for this." Burns stands up for Skip.
This is where the dude trips coming up the stairs, right? Are they meeting at the subway?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you catch that extra slipping up?
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I think I know who you're talking about. Walking past him, I think.
Yeah.
No, he's coming up.
Yeah. It's great.
Burns basically tells Eldon that he can't handle this anymore. He's freaking out a little bit. Elderson says, "I need you to finish this, and I'm counting on you."
The Democratic Convention is in a week from now.
Elderson gives Burns a yearbook of kids that took the professors that was killed, so any of the students that took his class to go through. Burns
Oh, please.
Burns looks into the yearbook.
Okay. So before he's like, "I'm fucking done," and walks away from him, and then commanding officer's like, "Here, fucking take this." And I love the like run back up the stairs, grab it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, damn it.
You put me back in.
Yeah. It's like you're pissed at your wife and you want to fucking leave. And she's like, "Can you take the trash out first?" Like, fuck yes.
Or even better, like, you forgot your keys. God damn it.
Can't storm off without my keys. Burns does look into the yearbook lead. One guy stands out that he kind of remembers from the club. He calls the student information line about from the college, asks for the address of the guy that he recognizes. We cut to some kid. He's pumping some iron. Him and a buddy are hanging out.
The
Burns,
dad from Boy Meets World.
is it
Yeah. And the dead dad from American History X.
really?
Yeah.
Good pull. Burns is now watching every move this
Oh,
guy makes.
I made a good pool or two to Topanga. So
Topanga. His name is Stewart. He even follows him and keeps up surveillance on him.
don't call him Stewie, though.
Burns hits the local park for some rays, a little bit of vitamin D.
Him coming out of the fucking woods just randomly is fucking great.
Mhm.
Those big ass jeans, That black tank top just meandering out of the... Like, we've all seen a guy just... The only thing he was missing was like a plastic bag full of the two things he owns.
I love like when he lays down and just... He seems like
Act cool.
he's comfortable. For the first time, he's a little comfortable.
Feel like you'd throw on a pair of shorts or something. No, I mean, walking out there in unwashed denim.
Ted's got some pants that look beyond comfortable.
Those green ones?
The big flowy
Yeah,
ones with
the
the
big
flip
green
flops.
ones, dude. Yeah.
Carl's like, I ordered those.
I bought them from Ted.
Burns
He doesn't need them anymore.
Burns catches some rays at the local park to watch Stewart. One day, Burns decides to break into Stewart's apartment, takes a look around. Burns finds all sorts of leather in his closet and a box of letters to a guy named Richards, who's from St. Louis, Missouri. They seem to be letters to his dad.
From the Lou or the Char, dude? Which
Lou.
one's he from?
The Lou, bro. Burns continues to follow Stewart. Stewart gets home and notices his fan is not quite all the way in the window because that's how Burns broke into his place. He starts to look around and notices that his letters to his daddy are all messed up. Stewart meets up with his dad, but it's all in his head. You know what you have to do, says his dad. Stewart is now hellbent for leather.
There is a shot, I think, after he's looked around and he realizes that the air conditioner's been fucked with and the letters or whatever. I think he looks out the window and Pacino is like behind that concrete wall.
He's just staring at it.
Just got almost like a Nicholson sort of.
It was me.
Yeah.
But see, it's stuff like that where it's like, I could read that he's the killer because he's just like, I've identified a guy I can pin this on. Like, I can swing this.
Burns checks in on Ted, but Greg answers. He says he's not there. Greg says he's working a real job. Burns and Greg, they get into it. Burns knows he's about to lose his cool. Greg calms down and opens the door to see if Burns has left. And this is when Burns smashes in the door and the fight is on. I guess this is when Freakin' said, like, this is the only time I really let Pacino be Pacino. So they fight each other, kind of. He backs up, leaves. Burns walks over to an apartment and gets in and sneaks a peek at Stewart. Stewart knows Burns is on his tail. Stewart walks into the park. Burns follows. Burns meets up with Stewart as they're sitting on this park bench, which is the same from the Warriors. Burns asks for a light. Stewart says, you're very funny. You got a place.
Well, Pacino starts doing, after he gets the cigarette lit, he starts doing the, I'm here, you're here.
He does sing the song, yes.
And it is like, if in the movie that other guy is the killer, he's basically being like, I know what the fuck's going on.
Or he could be.
Exactly. He could be the killer that sings that anyway. And the other guy's response is, you're funny. It's neither an admission of it's me or it's you.
Did anybody notice that whenever he flicks the cigarette, like it's right next to another like cigarette that looks like it was freshly flicked as well? I don't know why Freakin' shows that to us though. And I tried to look online to see if maybe that meant something, but yeah, when he flicks it, Freakin' shows two cigarette butts because it lands like right next to another one. I was like, well, what the fuck is he trying to say here? All right, Stewart's basically like, let's go to the tunnel to get down. So they follow each other. They get to the tunnel. They strip down. Hips or lips. I want to see the world. As Stewart pulls his pants down, Burns steps on his pants, and they both pull knives, but Burns stabs him in the side first. The next day at the hospital, Elderson and Burns question Stewart. Alderson says, "Are you willing to cut a deal if he confesses to the other murderers besides the dude at the porno theater?" He says, "I never killed anybody." Burns thanks Alderson for giving him a chance. Alderson welcomes Burns to the detective agency, so he got the promotion. The cops are going through Stewart's thing. The roommate explains that Stewart's dad has been dead for 10 years.
Keeps writing him letters. Hung up on him.
Acts as though he's still alive, like
Mm-hmm.
refers to him.
Alderson shows up at Burns' old neighbor's place where Ted has been found dead. Alderson recognizes Simone from the 6th precinct. He asks who the neighbors are, and John Forbes stands out because that's the name that Burns used when he went undercover. Jesus Christ. We see a guy walk into a club. We don't know who this is. Nancy returns home and Burns is shaving and asks if he can stay. He's back and he's done with everything. Nancy notices some heavy leather in a bag in the living room and she tries it on. Burns stares into the mirror. We fade out to the boat that we've seen at the beginning. And that is the end of Cruisin' from 1980, directed by William Friedkin.
What is your opinion or interpretation of the girl putting on the gear?
I feel like it's a little bit of his worlds colliding at the end. Like he's been so wrapped up in that. And then she puts it on. I think he kind of clocks it too. That she's like putting all that shit on, right? And then he just kind of goes back to like staring at himself in the mirror. But I don't know. I guess I read it as maybe that. Like he's basically saying, I want to be back into a normal lifestyle. But now she's putting all that shit on, you know?
I think it's a valid question to ask. Why does he still have it?
Mm-hmm.
And is it...
Well, is it his cop gear, though? Because it's the leather jacket and it's like the hat.
But
Is it
he's a
Stewart's?
detective now.
Yeah.
Or is it his? That's my question.
Yeah.
I think it's cruising gear. Heavy leather.
Yeah, I think it's cruising.
I don't
gear.
think it's his cop shit.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the innocence of her? Of she has no idea what this was involved in, whether this was his get up to
Right.
go into this underworld. Was this literally the outfit of a serial killer?
Mm-hmm.
Like, was it just a way to maybe take some power from some of it? It's just a cute little dress up.
Maybe this was the case that made me, so I want something from it.
Yeah, I think the worlds collide is a solid interpretation, but
Or maybe he was supposed to kill Nancy when he seen it in her.
But like,
Seen her
why
in the heavy leather.
keep it unless you're thinking a little bit like I could still go back to the club, you know? Like
Yeah.
I could sneak out at 2 a.m. and go cruise a little.
Yeah, maybe that's a lifestyle he still wants to dabble in.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, and we might have already went over it. Do you think he's a killer? I kind of think he's a killer.
I think he could be.
I kind of think he is.
I don't like it. Which I know that whether I choose to like it or not, it may affect my rating, but it shouldn't affect the play of the movie. It just doesn't sit right. It loses something.
That's not the payoff you wanted.
The fact that the killer, when they are shown in the 3 little vignettes, the fact that it's cast differently every time, to me, I read more as this will continue. It doesn't matter that you caught one. This is just a cycle that will continue. And you will go through all of this and you will go through hell and it will mean nothing. And you could have all of these unsolved murders and one you do like every 8th you fucking solve and just going, well, if you fucking admit to these other 5 so we can close the fucking thing, we'll take a few years off your sentence. Like,
Yeah.
that continuing cycle, I enjoy more. I like more the idea that he is so fucked up and it wasn't really for anything.
Mhm.
They caught the guy and they stopped him, but there was still a murder and there were still so many other murders that it doesn't matter if he did it or not. You were just now fucked up forever. That's it.
Do they even catch him, though? Because isn't it like he brings in that other guy, and then after he's brought him in is when they find out the guy who lived next door to him got killed, like the same night. So it's like there's already been another murder after he's brought the killer in.
Yeah, or did he kill him before they brought in the patsy?
Yeah.
Could Simone from Precinct 6 be the killer?
Who's
The CI?
That he recognizes in the beginning.
Is Simone the
Shows up. He's in.
the guy from Maniac?
Yes.
Okay. What's it? I can't remember the actor's name now. It's
Starts with an L. I don't remember.
I don't know. I don't know. I just know that it's not satisfying to me if ever I were to convince myself, he was the killer. It doesn't. I don't like it.
I did read some like fan theories, I guess, that
Joe Spinell.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
That it's passed to each person through somebody. So Stewart talks to his dad. We see him talk to his dad. And when Stewart dies from being stabbed, maybe he passes it to Burns. And that's why we get the stare in the mirror.
But Stewart doesn't die.
We don't know that, though. But when he passes it to Burns when they're in the hospital.
Like it's a fallen situation?
Yeah. That was one of the theories that they have going on.
To my own horn, but I feel like that ties more into perpetual cycle.
Mhm.
Like,
I think I like that reading less than he's just the killer.
Well, yeah.
I think the perpetual thing is different. Like,
yeah.
saying it's past, that's almost like it's a curse or
Yeah.
something. Whereas if it's just like it's all meaningless in a way, it's, there's always going to be someone killing someone in this thing. That's like a sadder, more pessimistic view versus, I don't know. I feel like there's not much evidence for like some
Demon
you got it
passing
now.
Between people.
I got you and you got it.
All right, gentlemen. Upon further research, Cruisin' was released February 15th of 1980, had a budget of $11 million, and had a box office of $19.8 million. So it made money. At the cinema that month, you could catch The Fog. You could catch Jaws 2. You could also catch A Coal Miner's Daughter.
Whoa.
The two notorious gay bars featured in the film, Mineshaft and Eagle's Nest, eventually barred William Friedkin.
Stop coming here. The movie's been done for 8 months.
Karen Allen was never shown a complete script before she worked on the film. Friedkin deliberately kept her in the dark, since her character Nancy wasn't supposed to know what was going on and happening in Pacino's character's life. The film is based on a series of murders of gay men that took place between 1962 and 1979 in New York City. For research, Friedkin worked with members of the mafia who owned all of the New York City gay clubs at the time. The clubs did have theme nights. I think we talked about this. Friedkin would have to basically do whatever the theme night
Participate.
was. Yeah, so he was there in a jockstrap or naked. He said, yes, we did that, and I was the ugliest guy in the room, and nobody ever hit on me.
So I kept going back until they told me to stop showing up.
On first viewing of the film, Richard Hefner, head of the ratings board, says there aren't enough X's in the alphabet to rate this movie.
Boo.
And that's all I got.
Fucking loser.
For Cruisin' from 1980, directed by our man, Mr. William Friedkin. Rate my box.
3.6 at the time of this review. Kron and I holding hands.
It's not all we're holding.
Shh. 4.0 for Dan. Kron, 4.0.
Bones 4.0.
Kron 4.0. Bones 4.0.
Coming into this week.
Nice.
I was going back and forth. It's only a 0.5 deviation. I had a great conversation the last 3 hours with you guys. I thought this was a lot of fun. This is a peek behind the curtain most of the time when we're talking about movies off mic with each other. It's not necessarily this analytical, but there's a reason we thought we could do this. There was genuine film conversation and discussion in the COVID times, which sparked this whole thing. It was nice to come back to this. It was nice that this movie, which would be so primed for immaturity and disrespect, gets this, and I feel like that would make Friedkin proud, right? Like, you disregarded the explicit and saw the art. So thank you both for being on good behavior. I had fun. I hope the listener had a good time listening to this. This movie frustrates the absolute shit out of me. And I really do appreciate it, because every time I sat down in preparation for this Budge trip and watched it, I would sit down and go, fuck. And then 25 minutes of, this is absolutely incredible. This is shot beautifully. This thing is edited really well. And then there would be just something that would pop in there. And you're fucking losing it, man. God damn it. You know, it's like a shitty instrumental interstitial on a rock record where you're like, what is this about? Let me move to the next thing. If you think I need space, you fucking build that into the song. Quit adding a fucking track that I got to skip. So that really is a bummer. I thought you both made really strong points, which helped solidify things that I already had. I think Pacino's really good in this fucking movie. I think Friedkin's at the top of his loose quick fire game. The peripheral energy from performance is a little lacking. I know that they got bombarded with protests. Audio was basically all looped and shot. To be fair, he's always sort of pro ADR and looping because he doesn't have to worry about it on the day, and he prefers that. It is largely detrimental to me because it's always hard to sync up, and you start editing a podcast and 4 years later you become some sort of fucking audio file and you just tune into that, and it's always jarring. That being said, the killer's voice is an excellent choice and super effective. I'm going to stop talking. It's a 4.0 for Bones.
Guys, Friedkin's Cruising. This is a movie I think I appreciate it more and more every time I watch it. I mean, I think we've already belabored it at this point. So the things I really like, I think there are a lot of ways to interpret the movie. I think it's open enough that it rewards rewatch because you can analyze a lot of different aspects of the film, chase different tangents, make up your own interpretation as you go. So I really think that's a benefit. This has a very high rewatchable factor to me. And then again, we kind of touched on this. I mean, I don't think this movie is representative of gay culture, but I do think the world that this movie takes place in, William Friedkin does a great job of immersing you in that. Like, you feel like you are in the club, right? Like, it's all these tight kind of panning shots, and you get a real sense of the environment that this takes place in. So even though it's not realistic, it does a good job of immersing the audience in the world that it's set in. I mean, Pacino is great. Karen Allen's great. All the bit character actors that, are named people to us that I don't know if most people recognize, but if you're into movies, you recognize them. I think they all do a fantastic job. I don't know. It's a movie that every time I come back to it, I think I like that a little bit more than the last time I watched it. I'm 4.5 on Cruising. I don't think I like it as much as Sorcerer, which is the only reason I'm not going to 5 on this, but I easily could the next time I watch it.
Cruising 1980, I freaking love that. There's so many fucking questions and things like Kron said on rewatchability that you notice probably the first time that you didn't watch it, and the second time is like, oh, wait a minute, that okay. And I love that. Pacino's fucking great. My plan was to have kind of a serious conversation about this movie and not play in the sandbox that everybody thought we would. I honestly got about 20 minutes in and almost scrapped it. I was like, this isn't us. We shouldn't do this. But I think whenever I decided I'd maybe take it from a more serious approach and ask questions to the boys, and we can go from there. So thank you for that. Every time I watch this, man, I have more and more questions. Reading some of the theories this time around, I was like, man, that's fucking interesting. And like I said, I love any movie where people can like get on Reddit and just say, well, this is my theory. Here's my theory. What do you think of this? This is because of that. Blah, 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 blah. It's a 4.0 for me, but I think, like I said, on my next rewatch, it'll probably jump. I mean, but I'll go 4.0 right now.
Good shit.
We did it.
Come back next week. Maybe there's another one.
Live from the Char. We'll see you again next week. Crash and burn.
Crash and burn.
You're here. I'm here. We're here. I watch a lot of porn.
Why?
Because it's cool, dude. Have you ever watched it?
You know what they're doing in there?
It's awesome.